Hold on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live with just DeAndre, just talking. Appreciate the brother coming on here,
Yeah, man.
and
No problem. No problem.
yeah, man. So let's get into this film shit, man. So anyway, so tell me about the brother again.
Uh, well, his name is Caleb. From is the DSLR shooter.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about the brother again.
Like, so it's Caleb from DSLR shooter, and what he
Okay.
does is he breaks down film equipment, how to set up rigs, lighting, audio. Uh, like he put me like I was like doing film stuff, and he was putting me into a lot of stuff, man. Like
Okay.
far as like lenses, right? Because lenses are expensive. When I first got into it, I was like, man, I ain't paying all that for a lens. And then I realized that it's the lens that gets you the magic. And what he put me in on was going to get these old vintage camera lenses, like the film camera lenses, like
Mm-hmm.
the point and shoot film camera lenses. And for y'all young folk, we used to have to like shoot on like film, and you had to go get it developed to get your
Oh
picture.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's been crazy. Yeah, because it'd be like a little hassle. You have to have like go through some distribution process.
yeah.
It's
You just you
yeah,
go to Kodak used to have them all over the place. Like you would have rolls
yeah.
of film. Like you had to buy rolls of film, then you had to know how to load it, and then you would have to buy it the film at a certain exposure, and everything was manual. There wasn't no autofocus. Everything
Right.
was manual. So you had to know what you was doing as a photographer. Like you really had to know your craft. Like you used to make a lot of money as a photographer. Um, and a lot of photographers, like, if they had a lot of film, like sometimes they would have a dark room, they would develop their own pictures,
Mm-hmm.
with the solution and stuff, and then they just like, no, I just give it to somebody. But
Yeah, yeah.
but you would take those lenses and you could put them on these digital cameras, and then you get a film look. Like there's frame rates. Like people don't even know. Like when you get into audio visuals and media and stuff,
Right.
you actually got to take psychology 101.
Oh yeah, you got to understand and create that relationship with people. See, this is and that's I'm glad you brought that up because as me getting into this craft here, like far as like podcasting and stuff. That's why I kind of do like more of open panels. I gotta understand the psychology of people. Where are they coming from? Instead of debating them all the time. And so like because I got that, like you said, I got that natural skill, like interviewing people, seeing where they're coming from, different controversial topics. Um, just want them to feel welcome because the thing is too, I feel like if you build that great relationship with people, they're gonna tell who they know, and that's gonna help your shit keep popping like that. Um, but the thing is too with me, just like I said, I'm gonna master like I said the camera skills too as well, because like I want to get into who knows, man. We never know, like get into like recording stuff, like filming, short films, music videos. You never know, like
Yeah,
yeah,
like you got to start off somewhere. Like you got to crawl before you walk,
yeah.
and a lot of times, and what a lot of people, what I like to do a lot of times is when I get into something. What I made a mistake with film is I got into it, and the first camera that I actually ever used was a Canon 5D Mark II at the time,
Can if you okay.
and the lens was these were like L series lenses. So a 5D Mark II at the time was about like $3,000, and then the lenses themselves was $3,000 to $4,000. These were cinema lenses almost, these L series lenses, right? I didn't know, but I know that I loved it because when I was taking a video and I didn't know anything, I was just naturally gravitated to it because I went and did some research to how to use it, but
Mm-hmm.
I was studying frame rates and shutter speed because I was messing I used to do club events, and I used to pay like $100, $150 for a photographer because
Damn.
this is back like MySpace days and stuff like that. So you
MySpace.
couldn't put up a video at the time. Like they didn't have the encoding right on MySpace, so you could only put up pictures. So you got to promote your event. And then I would pay these party photographers, these party promoter photographers, and the problem is they would take the pictures of the same damn people, like the socialites, because we was all using the same ones in the same spaces, right? So, but I didn't want that. I don't want you taking the pictures of the known people and the socialites all the time. I want you taking the pictures of the people that are regular patrons. Like you know, like say you looking at the party that was on Facebook, that was on, my bad, not Facebook. You went to this crazy party, and you go through social media because you was invited, and then you see your picture of you and your homeboys chilling. You want to go to the next party.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because like they say now, that's a receipt. Like, yo, I was over here chilling with such and such. Okay, where's the picture? Oh, it's right here. And because I saw bigger parties and bigger promoters doing that, where they would get their mailing list. Like they were like, "Hey man, what's your name? Hey man, you don't mind if we take a picture? Okay, take a picture." And then the photographer would have a person walk around with him. Hey, if you want a picture, we doing an email blast. Give us your email address, and then you would be like sent to a folder, or you'll be sent to where the pictures would be up, and everybody that gave their email or whatever, you'll be on that list, and then they'll send those pictures out to you. Email blast. Now I got your email blast. Now when I do my next party, I can just send it to your email. This is when people used to use email like they use texting now.
Oh
like people used to use their email a lot.
Well, so I was listening to, you know, this on rapper Daylight.
Might know who you talk about.
Yeah, he was a battle rapper. He still be, but he been talking about a lot of stuff. So he talked about you know, best way, you know, to really make some side income. He was just saying, like, you know, he said study, you know, Adobe Photoshop, and he said learn how to do that, you know, because and get a camera. And he was just saying, like, if you get into photography, you'll be surprised, like, you know, you start taking pictures and stuff. You create an Instagram page, and he said you even get images on Google. Get some crisp images on Google. Create an Instagram page. They ain't gonna know. They can like, dang, this one look nice. This one look cool. Then he was like, you know, you can develop and get some skills for people. I think he talked about go to modelsmayhem.com, and you can have like different individuals, you know, help you out and work with you. And he said basically be the middleman. Basically be the man. Like, okay, listen. You know, start setting up some clientele. You know, people got proms every year. People get weddings. People get birthday parties. You know, people gonna want pictures, want some high quality pictures. And then he was just sit up here and say, like, listen, man, you send some people, like, you charge, say, like $300. I do $300 just to do this prom pictures for y'all. Cool. You send a group there that knows what they're doing. They send a picture. You know, they get all the pictures and stuff like that. They got all that information, and then they get the money. You get a cut, and you get them the rest, if that makes sense. And he was saying you continue to do that. And then he said, you know, you just email them the receipt. You make sure you upload the videos, upload all the pictures to the clients. And there you go. And I was just like, man, it kind of makes sense though. Cause like photography, you really can make a lot of money doing that, man. People will like for instance, like I said, I'm like getting married like next year and stuff like that. It's like, bro, like I look at photographers, man, I'm like, damn, like they really get good money. Like we really like will pay you like $500, $1,000 just to, you know what I'm saying? Just to perfect your craft and take pictures. And I was looking like, damn, like that's a good skill. I think a lot of people don't really understand that though, man. Like you don't even really have to go to school for it. You just got to have like an obsession with cameras, man.
Yeah,
it's money out everywhere. And I was just looking like, dang, bro, because he was just saying, yeah, if you really want to make some money out here, be a photographer.
Be a photographer. Nowadays, because of because of cameras.
Yeah.
Because they make everything so easy with these new iPhones, man.
Oh yeah. Man, they can make it these off of iPhones. I'm like, see, the thing is, you know, memory and shit, but
yeah, I'm like, but if you think about it, right, your iPhone, like, here's the thing, like, what type of iPhone you got?
I got an iPhone SE. It's the newest one.
The new one, right? Okay. Yeah. So your like an iPhone SE is like a mixture. It's like the body of an iPhone 8, but the camera of an iPhone 10 with the processing with the processors of an iPhone 11.
Right.
So, so 11, I think it's 11R or something like that, or maybe
Yeah.
it's NS, I think. So your phone itself is at the same quality of a top grade $3,000 professional digital camera 5 years ago. That's
Mm.
what photographers was making a lot of money 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now photographers have to dabble in videography to
Yeah.
make what they were making 5 years ago because everything's visual is digital and stuff. Because people can take pictures and gram. Like there's nobody that puts up a raw photo on Instagram without a. You need a filter. You need
Filter.
some type of
Hell yeah.
filter or editing.
Yeah.
Um,
Woo-hoo.
like I give you a perfect example. If you look at my avatar, you look at my avatar like right now. Now that shows you that the avatar that you're looking at right now that's me taking a selfie with my phone.
See, and that shit looks so damn crisp. This
But
crispy.
but guess what I did though?
Yeah.
I took a selfie with my phone, but I got on this app. I used this app on my phone like Photoshop. So that
Mhm.
is edited. This is edited
Yeah.
off my phone. Like I edited the photo professionally. With Photoshop, you had to get up there on the computer, but they got these free apps. It's called Snapseed. That's the app. It's called Snapseed.
Snaps.
I
Okay.
use I use Snapseed. Just do this, do that. Mess with the highlights and the shadows a little bit, and instantly. This is the same thing that goes on my Instagram. It's the same one. It's like the same photos on my Instagram for like years ago. Like I think like 4 or 5 years ago. And this was me outside of a temple, um, outside of Otawada Castle. This, so Otawada Castle is like it's famous in Japanese history. It's the last castle that Hideyoshi had to take over after he ousted Nobunaga and became the emperor of Japan.
Mm.
He was the first emperor of Japan. So I'm actually sitting at the temple, but the burial site of the Otawada clan. Like I'm sitting right there. So
Mm.
so I go around, take photos and pictures and stuff like that. But everything's visual now. You got to get your game up visually, like and the best way
What's
to. Oh, go ahead.
mhm. Oh no, I'm listening because that's I'm glad you brought that up because that's another whole skill itself, like the videos and intros and all that.
Yeah, like it is. It's you make a lot of money. Like you can do music videos. Like I'm gonna tell you like this. My camera. I got two cameras. I brought a Nikon 3200 just for photos. Um,
Hmm.
but then I brought a Sony. I brought it off my friend. It was a Sony A6000. He was getting a Sony A7. Uh, Now Sony's that they call them mirrorless cameras. They're really small, but they're really powerful and they're really good in low light. Because I needed this camera because I was always in dark places because I'm in a club.
Yeah.
So with the Sony that I got, I paid them $200 for it. I have made to date off of that camera, that $200 camera, I have made about $4,000 off of that camera.
$200 camera. Wow. And you was making now you was just recording like in the club settings or
Yeah,
pictures.
like
Okay.
I did. I shot 3 music videos with
Okay.
that Sony. Shot 3 music videos. Did 4 commercials.
Damn. What
I did
that
four
camera?
commercials with that camera. And what else I did with it? And then I did some other work with it, like backup and stuff like that for a brother I was working with. And yeah, I made like three to
Now
four
let me
thousand
let me
dollars
ask
off
you
of
this,
it.
just DeAndre. Can you make a so you can make a music video with any camera? Like so say
Yeah,
if I So say if I get a Canon or DSLR, I can make a decent music video.
Yeah, you can make a music video with your phone.
Mm-hmm.
With the like people like there's people that make okay, so basically with music videos, right? Music videos is the easiest thing to do because you don't have to worry about the audio because you just need it as a reference.
Oh, I get what you said. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
actually using
Okay.
the music track
Right.
as the audio. So you just need to have it as a reference.
So pretty much have like that music track play in the background while you're recording.
Well, what you do is the artist has to record the music before you can do the music video, right?
Recording music. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you already like, yeah. Say you
Yeah.
already made music. I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah.
make a music video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you do is, everybody's got one of them little BS Bluetooth speakers.
Right.
So what the artist is actually doing when they do the music video is the artist is actually performing the song in the music video. You playing the music through the speakers. The artist is singing along, but he's actually lip syncing. You're not actually going to hear his audio, so he doesn't need any audio or any microphones on him unless he's doing some dialogue, right? The music video, the lyrics of the song is the script. It's being narrated by the lyrics of the song.
Mm.
So you're just giving the visuals to what the song is already doing.
Right.
You're listening to it, but you're seeing it at the same time. Now, in the case, the person that actually made music videos be so crisp and clean that he doesn't get a lot of credit is Michael Jackson, because his music videos
like
wasn't
movies,
music
man.
videos. They were movies, exactly.
Yeah.
They were movies. Because remember the early music videos where like he had that I think Rock With Me song where he was just there with the little disco lights behind. Yeah. So, but it was just a backlight he had a front light, he had a backlight. He had that Jerry Carroll going. Going. But then Billie Jean set everything apart because he actually was telling a story with the music video following along. Then you got Thriller, you got Beat It, you got Thriller, Bad,
Smooth Criminal.
You got and Smooth Criminal. That whole Michael Jackson Moonwalker was multiple music videos.
Yeah,
put into a story.
See, that was the story. Like now, I told you, like, well, one of my favorite rappers of all time is Mr. Kanye West, and the reason is because I remember when he was making My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy back in the day, and that's like I believe that's like one of the best albums I ever heard from him. And so he made like a literally every single track on that song. It was like his own scene. He had a video. So I remember back in 2011, I bought it, right? And I'm looking like, okay, I got all the tracks I could listen to, and I got a videographer. I got the movie for every single track of it. I was like, damn, that was just nice. Like it was so good in detail. Like it starts you off with dark fantasy and stuff like him running. I think you've seen it. He was running and he found some lady that was like a fairy or whatever. She was in an accident. He picked her up. Then all the songs just started playing. And when he started playing Power, and it was him making a beat. Like it was like you literally watching a movie while he's playing his songs. It was just so deep. I was like, oh man, like that was just very creative as hell. Like now that's some deep. Like I'm pretty sure he had a team to do that.
But he's got a great mind.
Yeah, he does.
I'm like, he kind of goes off the Rick because here's the thing about people that are geniuses, right, or savants. Their mind works differently. So a lot of times the thing that they're thinking isn't always the right thing to say out of their mouth. But their heart is in the right place sometimes. because we're not right all the time, right? I say some stuff out my mouth sometimes. I'm like, man, that's
that's the thing. I was looking like, I mean, Kanye West just stop talking about political stuff, but
I need to stop. Like, what am I doing, right? You know, but just with Kanye, like, did you watch that Breakfast Club interview? Where he was up there kind of spazzing.
He always doing that. I think it's so because I know he did that way back in the day with Sway in the morning.
Yeah,
he did a lot that. He I just think what it is. I think I seen the one too with him and Charlamagne the God too.
Yeah, he was with that one, and Charlamagne was like, "Man, who's your publicist?" Because he came back up there. They must have did a great job. Because they was trying to get Kanye to give him a soundbite, and he wouldn't. And he was being very convenient, but when he was first up there, he was talking about stuff that was going over people's heads because he's dealing in a whole different realm of folk when in the fashion industry, and he's dealing with the movers and shakers that actually control the narrative. Here, so they couldn't understand his plight of playing because they're at the bottom level. They just try and keep their job, and he's an actual business owner. So they don't so it's like you at work, right? You're in the back storeroom and your boss comes in there and talks to you about the quarterly quotas and how logistics didn't get you X, Y, and Z. And the reason you couldn't get X, Y, and Z from logistics is because they just had a bombing in a such and such country, and then you're going to have to raise the prices, but you're going to have to cut people's hours down so you can make the minimum. You stock in the shelves. You don't care about that.
Right.
You're not going to give a damn. You know when you're going to care? When your check come up, like, money. It comes, your money, right? So you have to, so that's what Kanye does a lot. Like, I'm in the industry. I've done a lot of work in the industry. I've been dealing with like the highest level. And I had to learn that when I would talk to people and they would miss exactly what I'm saying, they wouldn't understand. And a lot of times, like, I understand where people are going with stuff and what the pressures are, but I also understand when not to run my mouth and just like, yeah, man, you're right, he's wrong. If I was explaining to you what he's going through, that doesn't discount that he's wrong. But I want you to know where he's coming from and why he got to this answer. And a lot of people do not critically think. I like to look at cause and effect with a lot of stuff. Like if you did something, right? Or like, let's just say myself. If I did something, like if I came in the house, right? And I came in the house and me and my wife had this conversation. Let's just say for a whole week. I asked her to do something, right? Just something. And then I get in the house and she ignored me, right? Like, for whatever reason, people don't intentionally ignore you. Sometimes they just got other shit going on. They ain't paying you no attention. You might not have told them at the right time. If I come in the house and she doesn't get it done or whatever, just hypothetically, and it's something very important, pertinent, and I start yelling, no one knows everything that was leading up to that point. Even the person that I'm yelling at doesn't even understand what it was. They might even forgot that I told them like 4 or 5 times. But the only thing that people understand is me yelling. That's all they see. They don't hear nothing else. Now, am I wrong for yelling? Because is there a better way for me to get my point across? Well, yes, there is. But there is a reaction because why do I got to exercise patience to the letter of the law every time? Because I've already done that. So now I got to go back to my primal instinct and my survival mode. And that's to let you know that you violated by yelling at you.
Right.
Now, will the person accept it? The first thing is like, okay, I understand what you said, but don't yell at me. Well, but then you get into that back and forth, right? It's just like anything else in life. There's causes and effects. Like the other side of the coin, not a lot, because a lot of people, the world is watching, right? So a lot of people in the world, they see what the problem that we're having as black folk. Finally, after all this time, they finally seeing it.
True.
because you can't. What I call it is you can't derelict explain this, right? You can't you can't explain this. You can't explain why the cop had his knee on this man's neck for 9 minutes while the man was struggling to breathe, screaming for help, and he's up there laughing and smirking.
Well, exactly. Well, and this too, this is my thing here. I understand, like I said, the rioting, the protesting, all this stuff, right? But at the same time, people's like, okay, what is the end game? All right, well, they got second degree murder. That's what y'all want. But at the end of the day, y'all gonna, what I'm saying, what we're gonna do as black folks. And I was like, listen, stuff has to be written in policy, right? So if we can sit up here and go to the Senate, go to the legislative, whatever, or we can start locally, right? That's I feel like that's where the people have more power. We can sit up here and say, okay, well, listen, next time, like when a police officer utilize deadly force on low level offenses of African American man or woman, they will have it will affect their insurance. They'll get points on their license to the point that they will lose their police license, and they will at least serve to 20 years in prison. Now, you can't change racism of the individual, but you can change the racism of the system. And so I'm looking like, okay, well, if they know, like, they're going to get some punishment and some consequences for beating on African Americans and stuff like that, and just killing them for no reason type stuff, right? They would think twice. They'd be like, okay, well, when I pull this black person over, even though I can't stand black people, but I'm gonna think twice. Though I don't want to lose my pension, I don't want to lose my badge, so I'm just gonna do the right thing. So we can at least change their mindset. So that's why I encourage African Americans. Let's go in here. Yes, we understand the rioting and looting, but that's what they want us to do. That's why they send the National Guard and all that stuff. What we need to do now is have written policies, and then we can have somebody to present it to us. I mean, we got presented to them. We got somebody to represent us politically, and this is when you have to get into voting. Okay, we have to get into voting as far as the local. And once you get stuff written down on DeAndre, that's powerful. So DeAndre, you still there? So all right,
Yeah,
this is important.
yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna say this example, right? Say me and you, right? We started a store, right? We
Right.
started selling popcorn. We created a
Mhm.
popcorn store, and then we got a sign that says "Blacks Only." Okay, so we just serving
Yep.
blacks. So we got this popcorn. It's beautiful. It's nice. Black people supporting us and stuff. Said blacks only. There's some white people come up, right? White people like, dang, I want some black pop. I want some popcorn from this company, but why you guys got a black only sign? That's kind of racist, man. And then we sit up here and say, listen, well, we just want to fuck with our own, and that's it. I mean, what you gonna do? You can't go in here. So white people like, man, that ain't right, man. I want some popcorn. That don't make no damn sense. Okay, you ain't gonna let white people in here. That's racist. So now what they do, right? So now they wake up and they start organizing. We're gonna protest. Let's protest this damn black only motherfucking popcorn company. So they all get together. They protest and stuff like that. And it's a huge mob with the people getting upset. And then this get to the point that the government calls us like, hey, young lady DeAndre, that's racist, man. You cannot have a black only sign. Take that sign down, or we're gonna shut everything down. Now you're like, damn, we put our life savings in this damn company. So okay, well, fuck it. We're just gonna go ahead and just take it down. All right. So we took the sign down. White people that's protesting the same thing, they got a victory, right? But our black people in the community like, damn, this don't make no damn sense. They all on the news. They saying, I want to support y'all businesses, man. They always want to take stuff away from us. This don't make no damn sense. I'm so angry. You know what? We tell our black folks, right? Hey, just come up. Listen, I know this is the government. We have to we couldn't shut it down, whatever. We have to take the signs down, but just show up 6 o'clock in the morning, show up early in the morning before they get there. All right. So they show up early in the morning, right? All our people, black people, show up early in the morning for this popcorn. Next thing you know, white people showing up like, okay, well, we got 2 or 3 hours. We don't care, man. We just going to get some popcorn. This is a victory for us now. Next thing you know, 10, 15, 20 black people show up, and then they end up cutting the line. So this is getting interesting. They cut the line, right? Now they starting to realize the white people like, dang, I've been standing in line for 5 hours. I still ain't get no damn popcorn. I mean, are y'all serving us? Well, yeah. I mean, you just got to get here early. I can't help that. Black people are showing up a lot early. I mean, it's not our fault. So that stuff is going on. So now they realizing like, wait a minute. So it's not. So you can't sue me because it's not illegal for people to cut in line. You know what I'm saying? It's illegal for me to have a black only sign. So now they sitting up here and saying, okay, now they want to get crafty. So let's go in here. Let's create a policy instead of us rioting and looting. Let's create a policy that if any black person in this line or in this popcorn store cuts in front of us, they will lose their place in line, and also too they will be prosecuted. Now that will think twice if they get that written in law and they start getting to politically involved and get that written in policy, then things gonna start working in their favor. So the reason why I brought that example is that protesting only gives awareness. You know what I'm saying? So racism will always still going to be there, but you can change the system. You can change the mind. Like think about it. I don't like wearing my seatbelt all the time, but I got to because I don't want a damn ticket if I get pulled over. People don't like going to speed limit like that. But I guarantee you, though, you will go to speed limit because you don't want no damn ticket because that's what the law says. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So we got to have written policies that work for shit to work in your favor.
Well, here's the problem with that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a written policy. It's called the Constitution of the United States. We have a written policy. It's called the Civil Rights Act. So it's a policy that reinforces and buffers the other policy. You have another policy called affirmative action that came out during the Civil Rights Act, right? You got the Equal Housing Act. You got all these acts to basically level the playing field of the systemic problem, the underlining tone that happened during the push the efforts of civil rights. But here's the biggest issue. These are federal acts. Now, a federal act means absolutely nothing because each state has its own jurisdiction. Martin Luther King's birthday is a federal holiday, but there are certain states that don't even celebrate it at all. How are they able to go against a federal act where the federal government is at the top of the food chain? The federal government is not at the top of the food chain. They're just oversight.
Okay.
Who can investigate you? The CIA cannot investigate you. It's the FBI and the ATF. Right? ATF. Alcohol, firearms, and tobacco.
Yep.
That's what it was alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, the ATF. So if you're not violating any alcohol laws, if you're not violating any tobacco laws, and if you're not violating any firearm laws, then they can't investigate you. The FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but they're actually the armed force of the IRS. Because when the FBI comes to get you, it's always on some taxes.
Yeah, dog. You ain't lying.
It's always on some taxes. And the FBI did not get invented until during Prohibition.
During Prohibition, yeah.
Prohibition. Yeah. So it was for the IRS agents, the FBI agents. So then you got the federal marshals. Now, for the federal marshals to come after you, you have to literally be a wanted fugitive on multiple states. Because the state can't go into another state without jurisdiction. Because if you ain't did nothing in that state, they have to do it in a certain way where the local law enforcement got to basically grab you up and extradite you back if their states have extradition. See, states don't even got extradition in certain cases where he ain't do nothing over here because they got laws on the books. So if you look at every state, if you go into some of these states, they got laws on the books that are so damn old that they're still there, but it's up.
But it's not like as powerful.
Like, no, they're powerful, right?
Okay.
But it's up to law. It's up to the judge or the law enforcement to enforce these laws. Give you a perfect example. Remember the Aaron Hernandez case?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. So the Aaron Hernandez case, he was going through trial. So Aaron Hernandez was a tight end for the
New England Patriots.
New England Patriots. So Aaron Hernandez getting locked up like that, he would have got off. But you know why he didn't get off? Because the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft was actually lobbying money and giving money to the DA to get rid of him, because then through the collective bargaining agreement, he wouldn't have to pay that $35 million to Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, because that
Even if
contract.
even
Yeah.
if he went to jail, he would have to go to jail. So you know what Aaron Hernandez did? He committed suicide. Guess what? There is a
Well, and that law, you talking about that law in Massachusetts, right? That can he can give it to his spouse, something like that.
no. What the law in Massachusetts states is a man that's undergoing trial, and if he dies during the trial, he cannot be convicted. He's considered an innocent man. You know why this law came into place? Because so many black people used to get blamed for stuff, and they used to die in police custody before the trial was over with, mysteriously, and they would automatically say that they were guilty. So to keep this from happening, this law was in place. It was also for white folk. It was also made for the Irish and all the immigrants, because they would do this to them too. They would blame them for stuff and snatch their businesses and basically mysteriously kill them during the trial. And then that person couldn't get any justice. So what would happen is they would take the business and whatever, because they would have to default on the accused. Because if you're not there to defend yourself and face your accusers, then the accuser automatically wins. It's like you go into court, you get subpoenaed, you could be dead, right? But if you don't show up to the court date, then the judgment is for the plaintiff. Or if the plaintiff don't show up and the defendant is there, if they don't show up, then the judgment is for the defendant, because they're not there, because you have to face your accusers, right? So they put this law in place. So Aaron Hernandez did this so his daughter can get the money, but guess what they did? They tried to go back and revoke the law. So they revoked the law, but they couldn't do it because he was already grandfathered in, because it already was enacted and always on the books for at least 200 years. That law's been in the books in Massachusetts for 200 years. They got a whole bunch of obscure laws, if you go looking through these states, that are still on the books, that need to be abolished. So policy means absolutely nothing without the means to enforce the policy. Just like you just stated, you got to take down the signs. Okay, well, if I take down these signs that I told you overtly that I didn't want you in my establishment, so if I take down the signs, then I'll let you in my establishment. But if you come in here, I'll call the police.
See,
right? I'll call the police and say you're doing something strange, right? Exactly. Like in Starbucks, right? Or I'll give you the worst service possible. I'll ignore you.
Yeah, they do that shit. They do the see and man, bro, it's crazy though. Like it.
Yeah, because it is. But here's the other thing about living in a democracy and stuff like that, or representative democracy. Businesses are a private entity. They have the right to refuse goods and services to anybody they deem necessary. They have the right. It's their constitutional right not to give you goods and services. It's not a government entity. It's none of that. It's a private business. Just like you have the right not to let just anybody in your home, because it's private property. It's trespassing.
Exactly. You can say, I want nobody in my damn house. Well, it's your shit.
Yeah, businesses are private. So you're talking about equal rights underneath the law. There's certain things you can and cannot do. Like you cannot make someone do something long as they're not physically harming you to do anything. If I got a bed and breakfast and I don't want you in my beds or eating my breakfast, you can't make me do anything. It's not hurting you not sleeping in my bed, and it's not hurting you eating my breakfast. Now, if you come into my business and I tell you that you got to leave and you don't leave, and I have people in there beating you up, throwing sugar on you, smacking you upside the head, now we got a problem because I assaulted you.
Yeah.
Right? But you didn't leave either. So am I in the wrong because I asked you to leave? Whether I do it nicely or aggressively, long as I don't put my hands on you, it is what it is. Right? Long as I don't go overboard. But it's no difference. It's just you just don't go and peruse that business. Now, if I go to make my own business, okay, you don't want my bread, I can't be in your bed and breakfast. I can't be in your beds or eat your breakfast. I'm gonna go make my own bed and breakfast. But if
Mm-hmm.
you come to my business, shutting down my business, putting burning crosses in my lawn, so now you don't want me to have nothing. Now we got an issue.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you're violating my civil liberties and rights, and you're using your
right.
money from your bed and breakfast to keep me from having a bed and breakfast. You know, that whole separate but equal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go, right?
Well, yeah, that's a interesting perspective. Um, because I'm just looking like this DeAndre, because I know we talked about this previously. It's more like, okay, if this stuff is happening, because like this whole the reason why I named this title is a circus, because it is. I mean, Minneapolis. It reminds me of the Ferguson stuff. I mean, it's just everybody's going crazy. It's ridiculous. I mean, David Dorn, or was a police chief, retired from St. Louis, man. 77-year-old man died, from looters and rioters. I'm like, damn, because you got some people that's actually down there. It's like a mix of people. You got people that's down there for peaceful protesting, which is good. And you got some people that's down there just to be down there, just causing havoc, and a lot of innocent people getting hurt. And I'm just like, damn, like, are they really marching like for justice and stuff like that, or are they really want George Floyd to receive this justice, or is just people just wants to see this country burn? You know what I'm saying? Because you got some people like that, bro. And
Mhm.
it's just
I'm,
super
I'm, gonna,
crazy.
I'm gonna say like this: when you got to second guess a lot of things,
Yeah.
I would say there's a majority because people got this misconception
Mm.
about a lot of things. Here's the first misconception: the civil rights era, the civil rights march. Black people are considered to be at the time, I guess, of civil rights, during the civil rights, the civil rights thing about civil rights actually started about the civil rights movement actually started like in the 50s.
Yeah.
So black people at that time, I guess black people at that time were like about 25, about 20, no,
Right.
about 30% or so of the population of the United States. So black people were about that percentage. White people still outnumber black folk by
Mm-hmm.
about 60%, about almost 60%. So 30% are not going to get, if the public sentiment across the board with a majority is not going to get what they needed out of white folk. Like we just explained how this whole thing works.
Right.
They're not going to get this out of white folk unless there's white folk on board that march with them. We always see black folk walking, but you don't see the white folk that's with them because they didn't want to push the narrative that
Yep.
white folk was actually supporting the rights of black folk, because then that would change other white folk to to start supporting black folk, which would say that they're equal. You just want these black people sitting up here whining and crying that's going to encroach on your liberties and your preference. Now, because we're black people, and so we don't really pay attention to preferential treatment. So I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I was in Seychelles. Seychelles, have you been to Seychelles, or you know where it's at?
What is Seychelles?
Okay, so when you're in when you're in the Gulf, right?
Okay.
Um, the water that's in the Gulf, because I was in the Navy,
Okay.
and Seychelles is basically, you have Madagascar, and then you have these islands, right? That's above Madagascar, um, and it's off the coast of like Ethiopia, Somalia, Dubai, and Kenya, right? So Seychelles is this beautiful island. It's like Jamaica, and it's like Jamaica, DR, and whatever, but it's like in Africa, basically, like off the coast of Africa.
This is the cost. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same, tropical, everything, beautiful place, wonderful place. So I'm in Seychelles. I'm sitting at a restaurant. Next thing I know, we have Filipinos on the ship, like men and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they got the Filipinos there, right? So I'm eating my lunch, beautiful lunch, man. It was like a deep sea tuna, because they have
Okay.
they're known for their tuna factories and stuff like that, and plantain, and then it had this coconut, like kind of like sherbet. Like it wasn't like cold, but it was this thing that they only make there. So I'm sitting there, and it's nothing but black people, like working there, banks, offices, everything. So they were being a little bit too loud, and I'm not being prejudiced, not like this, but
Right.
the Tagalog language is not the prettiest thing to hear. To be honest with you, it sounds like chickens clucking. That's what it sounds like. I'm just being honest. That's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound cute. It's not a cute language. There's a lot of cute language like Russian, like German. German and Russian sound terrible. Like German does not sound.
Arabic too. Oh my god,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. Arabic sound like they clearing their throats all the time. Like there's like native languages in the continent of Africa that sound like, oh God, what are you doing? Like what's all this clicking? Like you don't know what's going on because you don't know the language. It doesn't sound pleasing to the ears. Let's just put it like that.
Right.
So they were being a little loud. Everybody's in this restaurant chilling. They're being a little loud. And I'm kind of getting annoyed. So I call the waiter over because they were having a party and it's not their fault I'm being annoyed. So I called the waiter over. The waiter looks at me. He sends the waitress over. She comes over. She says, sir, what seems to be the problem? And I said, it's a little bit too loud. Can I change my table over to the corner? Right? I wanted to move. She said, oh, are you being annoyed? I said, just a little bit, but it's not their fault because, they were here before me. They're just having a party. And I knew the guys. They were on the ship with me. I'll just move over. Can I move over there to the empty table? She said, oh, no, just wait 1 second, sir. She gets her manager. They walk over. They do not tell her. They do not tell them to quiet down. They ask them to leave.
Damn.
They say, you are annoying our guest.
Wow.
Please leave.
Wow.
And then the manager gave them and put their money on the table.
Wow. So he gave them their money.
Yeah, like had the money. It wasn't up for negotiation. And I can hear them like, what, like, why we gotta leave? You're being loud. Okay, we'll quiet down. No, too late. Our patron has complained. You have to leave. Now I noticed that there were white people there. I noticed that at this time it was only me as a black person in this place. Now I'm going to be honest with you. It felt good. No, for real. This is the first time in your life you experiencing privilege. It felt good, but it was against some minorities, right? Because the Filipinos that were there, they worked in the tuna can factory. So whatever. So I'm gonna give you another instance that happened in Seychelles. I used the ATM that was closest to the hotel.
Okay.
The ATM machine ate my card.
Mm.
So I was like, oh man, what I'm going to do? So I go into back into that hotel and I said, hey, the ATM up the street ate my card. And it was like Sunday. It was like Saturday. They're like, really? I said, yeah. They're like, oh, you got to go downtown to the bank. So the bank is a 15-minute cab ride. So the manager that was at the hotel said, well, I'm about to get off work and I got to go downtown. So I'll take you. So they're black. I'm black. You know what I'm saying? I'm with my friend. We go, they take me in. He takes me in his car downtown. Now to give you some preference, this is like 2000 and this is 2003, 2004, right? So this is like Iraqi freedom time, like after we done bombed everything, right? In Iraq for the second time. So I'm sitting here like, okay, now the newest car that they had in Seychelles was a Honda Civic, the hatchback from Fast and the Furious. That's the newest car that they had because it's an island, right? It's a plantation island. It was actually ran by the French and the Dutch.
You're right.
Back in the day. So we ride downtown. He walks into the bank and they say, and he walks in, where's the bank manager? So they start speaking in Creole, right? But their form of Creole is more Swahili based. Right? Okay. I'm half Haitian, so I can speak the Swahili based Creole. So I started speaking the Creole that I knew. So they started looking at me like, oh, we didn't know you knew how to speak the language. Okay. So they call the bank manager up. He is off. He's on the other side of the island, 45 minutes away. He comes into the bank, sees me, they have a conversation. He walks out of the bank, comes back with my ATM card. Then he takes me outside and asks me to check to see if it works. It worked. He said, "Don't take the money out. Come with me." He goes into there, authorized how much money was you trying to take out, and it was like 200 American dollars, but in their money, Seychelles dollars don't mean nothing. It's like dirt, right? So he gives me the money I was trying to take out and an extra 150 for my for my worries.
Damn.
And then he gives me like cab money to go back. Back right now, mind you, there was a white dude in there that the same thing happened to him, but to the ATM machine outside. The bank manager is there. He's talking like, "You need to fix this." And then they look around, they look at the bank manager, the bank manager look at them. He doesn't even know the bank manager is standing right next to him. And you know what they say? "Well, the bank manager is off today, so you're going to have to wait until Tuesday."
Oh, whoa! Wait a minute. Is that no? Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish, DeAndre.
So I'm looking like this. The bank manager looked at me. I looked at him, and mind you, that the bank manager had his daughter with him.
Damn.
So I said, "Is that your daughter?" He's like, "Yes." So we step outside. So we walk. I said, "Hey, I gotta thank you." He said, No. It's okay, brother. It's okay." I said, No. You did not have to do all this. So I walk him across the street with his daughter, and I buy her the ice cream cones. Yes. Right? Give her ice cream cone and stuff like that, right? And I went on about my business. Like me and my friend, we got in the car and we went back to the hotel. And I thanked the staff. So what we did, because we know that the alcohol there, they make their own thing called cocoa rum. It's made out of like pure cocoa bean, like pure cocoa, right? It gets you twisted. You be passed out. And that sugarcane rum they got, passed out, right? But like we had like alcohol, like high grade alcohol, because they got a casinos and stuff. Like they got a casino, but the casino was actually on an old like sugar plantation, a sugarcane plantation. Okay. So it's a tourist spot. So we go to the casino and we buy 4 bottles. Like we buy a bottle of Crown Royal and we buy like a bottle of Hennessy XO. And we just buy some bottles because we've been in the golf, we got money, we stupid. So we bought a bottle, and then when I saw the manager the next day, I wrapped the bottle up, in the thing, and I gave it to him, like as a gift. I say, "Hey, thank you. You didn't have to do that. This put me out of straits." And he said, "No, and I gave it to him. So he comes back the next day, and he takes us. He said, "You coming with me?" He takes us to his home. Now, him and the bank manager are friends. Like they grew up together. So he takes us to the home. The chief of police is there too. The governor of Seychelles is there too. I'm seeing all these people in power on this island that run stuff. And he said, for the rest of the time you're here, if you need anything, don't worry about it. This is when I realized how white people feel with their privilege. That felt so good. It felt so good.
I bet it did. I bet
but it's also a scary thing because I was walking around Seychelles like I dare you to touch me.
Right.
I dare you. I wish you. I was looking at anybody that wasn't black. Like I doubled. Ooh, like we would walk up to the club and they already knew who we was. Like I wasn't paying for stuff. Like actually, I like the money that I had to give it away. I just put it in little envelopes. And when we left, because I couldn't take the money with us, because if you try to exchange the money back, you wasn't getting jack, right? It was like a one-way currency. Like you exchange your money, but if you try to get their money to get your dollars back, you wouldn't get it was like 4 times the amount. Because so I just gave the money away. I put it in envelopes, and all the staff, like they would come through in the morning, make sure I had fresh sheets, anything that I needed. Like if I wanted some fresh
only this shit would happen in America to black men. God damn it.
But
But
it
like,
it could. It could. But
see now look now, because I got a passport. I'm trying to
yeah,
hit up. I'm trying to get my fiance to get a passport too. She's working on that too. So, but I'm trying to get it. Go. I'm gonna hit up Japan. I always want to go to Africa. I gotta go to Africa. I want to go to Rwanda, Kenya, Sudan, Madagascar, Morocco. Egypt, and I also too want to go to like I said, Seychelles. Now let me ask you this: for Seychelles, is that country? Is that country? It's the only country you think in the world that that is not racist to black folks.
no. Listen, I
Okay.
was in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing about the Philippines is if you a Mason, oh, you get away with holy murder. If
Yeah.
you're a Mason, you get away. So it doesn't really matter. But you got to look at a lot of these countries. They're not racist to black folks. It's you just they're everybody subservient to some money. See, it's only European or Western society. Like if you're a millionaire as a black person,
Right.
you're still lower than the poorest white person.
You talking about in what country? In the Philippines or
No,
America?
no, just in westernized society.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
But if you go to these other countries,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually more loved just as a black person showing up because everyone knows our struggle and our plight
Hell yeah.
as a black person. Now, there's a difference between the people that are from the continent of Africa and the black American.
Okay.
There's a difference between the Caribbean black and the Afro Latin the Afro Latina and the black American. We're a whole different species. Because you know what's the difference? Let me tell you what the difference is. Jamaica is ran by black people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it messed up the way it is? You can't blame white folk for that. You got to blame yourself for that because that's your country. Nigeria is ran by black people. Now, they did get colonized, but that's to their own dismay. So the corruption that they have and the infrastructure problems that they have in Ghana and Nigeria and these countries, because if you look at Botswana, if you look at certain other countries that are ran by black folk, they're up. They're good. But it took them years of getting there, but everyone goes through this rulership and colonization. Look at China.
Yeah.
China was colonized by the Brits, right? Look at India. India was the same way. Think about it. We talk about Singapore, right?
It's the richest country in the world. Yeah.
One of the richest countries in the world. Do you know that Singapore is the size as a country is the size of 4 of the boroughs in New York City?
Damn. That's
Do you know
very
Malaysia? Do you know Malaysia is huge as hell? Even with islands off the coast of it.
Damn.
Like, do you realize that, right? If you look at a map and look at Singapore, Singapore is a British port. That's why it's called Singapore. It's a port of Malaysia. It became its own entity in its own country because of England.
Mm.
Think about that. Think about that. It was a major trading post on the Silk Road. Because you would go from India with the spices, the Far East Trading Company. You would come out of the Mediterranean, go through the Straits of Gibraltar, come through the Straits of Hormuz, right? Hit India, hit all of that, get through all of that. Then you would hit Singapore before you go. Then you would go over to Hong Kong, unless you stop it in Korea, right? Go to Hong Kong. Then you would hit over to Japan, hit Japan. Then you would go back down into. Then you would hit the Philippines, the Guam, the Polynesian Islands. Then you would go over and hit California, but you would hit SoCal.
So let me read this chat real quick. Shouts out to Black Hill Paradise. Hoghead Cheese. He said traveling around the world sounds good, Youngling Jr. Hopefully you'll make some business contacts during your travels. Yep, that's the plan, brother. That's the plan.
But yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, see, traveling is extremely important, man. I'm not traveling to. I mean, I'm in a relationship. I ain't trying to trade the fuck, but I want to get there to change my perspective on things. You know what I'm saying? To like just to see how other people live and shit, man. I mean, because one thing is I can't believe everything what this damn media be telling me. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's poor areas in every fucking country. I mean, America got poor areas, motherfucking. I mean, every country has his bad parts. But I'm pretty sure I heard people when they went to Africa, they was like, bro, when I went to Kenya, dog, I saw so many big ass houses and shit. I was like, damn, like, it's really,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's like, I mean, they only show you one part of it, but it was the same, bro. I went there, people got Wi-Fi, people got clothes, people got these shoes, people got like the same shit we got in America. He was like, it blew my mind. I was like, damn, mansions.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What I tell people, this is something that I tell people. When you're traveling, being a tourist and being an expat is two different things. Mm-hmm. I'm an expat. I'm not a tourist.
Okay.
There's a difference. The difference with tourism is you go to a country, you're there for a week or two, and you go back to your country. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're touring. Mm-hmm. I'm an expat. I actually live in the country that I'm in. So I came to Japan and I live here. I have not lived in the continental United States for a full calendar year since the year 2000.
Damn.
So for 20 years of my life, and I'm almost 40, I'll be 40 next year. So over 50% of my existence walking on the face of the earth, I have not lived in the continental United States of America.
Man. I mean, hey, just DeAndre, no offense, man, but you ain't missing out.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not, but I'm like,
we struggling over here, man.
I know, but you know what I do? Because like I live in Japan, but I made sure I live close to a military base, so it's kind of Americanized here. And then if I want to know what it feels like to be oppressed in those, sometimes I go on the base. Because I can feel it. Like,
so you think so you think black men, black men, black women, do you think like far as like are they oppressed overseas? Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like, do they get privilege?
No, it depends. If they're not in a westernized country to a certain degree, no. Like I see, there's a lot. There's a lot of black people living in like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand.
Yeah,
because the cost of living is so cheap, and you can, there's different nuances that you got to get used to, but you also have more opportunities. Like I'm gonna give you this, right? The average salary cost per month for a Vietnamese family or Cambodian family is $400 a month.
Let me look this shit up. I'm gonna go on Zillow, look at a house Cambodia. I'm gonna look this up right now, man. I want y'all to see this because let me see. I got my all right. Oh baby. Okay, let's go to Vietnam.
Yeah. Vietnam. I think there's a like this is a sister that's got a YouTube channel, Black in Vietnam and Cambodia, like in Hanoi.
Vietnam homes for rent, expat.com, right?
Yeah, you can try that. You can try that. Hanoi.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, so I don't know what this is. 23,000. I don't know what that is in American dollars. Let me see. I probably can Google that. So this is a poor house for rent in Da Nang, Vietnam, 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, what you got to do is make sure you do that conversion rate because that's in their money. So you got to put it in like US dollars, how much that will cost.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that. Yeah, actually, I got my phone. See what that is. How much that is? They got a garden, swimming pool. See now, look now, DeAndre. I seen now when I went to I never went, but when I was looking at homes in South Korea. Man, I got some beautiful homes, man.
Man, South Korea. Listen. I done been to Korea like 14 times.
Oh, look at that.
Listen, I've been to Korea like 14 times in my life.
Jesus Christ, is beautiful, man.
Listen, do not move to Korea, bro. Period. End of story. No, for real, man. Korea. Listen, no disrespect to Koreans, but no, don't move to Korea. Listen, these are the countries you don't want to move to if you come into Asia, right?
Okay.
Japan is one of them. It's cool to be here to do whatever because it's really safe. But there's no long-term benefit for you being in Japan because you're going to have to naturalize to a Japanese citizen. Two,
Right.
China. Don't no ever, ever. Like if you go into China, like they pay well. So if you're trying to get your bread up and have a good time, go to China because they pay for everything. But at a moment's notice, they can switch stuff up. Like there's a lot of people that's in China that's Americans that got booted out because of this trade agreement. China is a communist country, so they control a lot of stuff. You won't have access to Facebook and Instagram and things of that nature unless you in Hong Kong, and they're even changing that up. So then you got was it Korea? Was it Japan, China, and then Korea? Korea is like a version. It's like Korea is like the same, almost the same thing, right? They have this westernized mindset towards black people. They like black people, they like your culture, but they don't really like you. You saw what they're doing in Korea and in China, where the Africans, they're trying to blame them for the COVID thing, and they kicking them out of stuff.
They was kicking people out of in China. Those kicking Africans out. I'm like, nigga, like you paying rent. Can you imagine you paying rent? You got your man. That shit crazy.
And ain't nothing you could do about it because you're not a citizen. So if you're going to go to a country to get some stuff done, you can go to Malaysia, you can go to Cambodia, you can go to Vietnam, and then you would go to Thailand, right? The cheapest is Cambodia and Vietnam. So you go Cambodia, Vietnam, where they got good health care, they got an infrastructure and stuff like that, where you can open up a business. Now, the only thing is when you go to these countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand, you got to make sure that you hire them. So if you open up a business, the business has to be 70 to 90% Thai, Vietnamese, or Cambodian. So you can't just come over there and just hire nothing but black folk like they do in the States. Like, you know, you go to a Chinese restaurant, they open up a Chinese restaurant in your neighborhood or a business, and it's nothing but 90%. It's like 100% them. They ain't trying to employ nobody. Just like what they doing in Africa. They open up these businesses, but they only bringing over more Chinese. They don't even have the people that's in that country working there. So they don't play that. And I don't blame them because it's their country.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta go with what you go, but that's cool. That means it's better for me. So if you want to sit up there and you want to, and if I'm running a coffee shop and you want to pick and scoop them beans all day, that's fine. Then I can get my cousin to come over and he run coffee shop number 2 and I run coffee shop number 1. Matter of fact, we expand the business.
Wait a minute. So okay, so this is according, I got the currency rate for a 4-bedroom and 5 baths. Your rent is gonna be $1,202. That's good. That's good. That's
living expensively, right?
Yeah, and
that's expensively. Like you start a garden pool and all that. You can get get everything included in Vietnam, like in a Hanoi or Chiang Mai. You can get everything included for like $400 to $500 a month.
Woo! You know what? I might move, man. I don't know, man, because after my military, because I really, man, I've been looking at homes, bro. But yeah, don't get me wrong though, because I did fall in love with South Korean homes. I was like, damn, this shit is nice.
Man. Look, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
listen, I'm like, because if you're talking about buying, like, all right, check this out, right? Yeah. The reason why I say Vietnam or Cambodia, stuff like that, because you got like, what is it? If you got about like 44,000 to 150,000, you got a compound. Like I'm talking about, like, you ever watch Narco?
Yes.
Right. When I mean a compound, like you roll up to it, it's like fenced off, it's multiple buildings, like a villa with all the stuff in. That's what you can get in Vietnam for like $150,000. So you can get a nice house, man. Right? You can get a nice house for like 45 to 60 to 75,000. You talking about $50,000 cash, you can get you a nice house, right? Woo. What is that telling me? You get a nice house, or you can get a nice little apartment complex where you can make money off your investment. So a lot of people, and here's the other thing about Vietnam, it's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper to eat out every day than to buy groceries.
You know what? And this is $600. This is $643 a month for 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. That's a blessing, man. Because wow.
Look at that. Look at that. And guess what? The way you make money on the internet now. So there's a lot of YouTubers
Yeah.
that move to Vietnam and Cambodia because they're making money off of YouTube doing their content, or they're
Mhm.
travelers and they live in Vietnam and Cambodia and they make their money. So think about it. That's $600 a month with everything included. There's no place in America that you can find for that price for a 3-bedroom that look like that. That look
No,
like a luxury
no, all that
condo right
shit. Yeah, it look new, bro. I'm looking like, damn, like I'm gonna check in Cambodia, but man, that is nice, man. Dude, I'm paying a little bit more because my apartment is like 675. This one is more than a freaking bro. I don't know, man. This a 3-bedroom home, bro. Like I said, man. If
there.
if you make it, if you were like you said, if you were an internet influencer, like you say, you getting that money coming in, yeah, like Vietnam would be good for you.
Yo, I'm like, even if you in film or you like you
Yeah,
doing the thing.
you're
The
right.
like you talking about, we was talking about earlier about doing content like podcasting,
Yes.
like what would get you more views? Going from neighborhood to neighborhood, or going
Mm-hmm.
from country to country, or you're in a place like Vietnam and just doing podcasts and stuff like that from Hanoi and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know the dudes that's on YouTube that teach you how to build your channel, what they call the Nick Neiman.
Yeah, I think you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the white dude, he kind of got the chipped teeth with the glasses. He
Mm-hmm.
always got his face in the camera, but
Yeah.
he tells you the stuff that you need to know, very quick
Mhm.
and precise. You know his studio, they're in Vietnam. Him and his brother,
Damn.
they got that whole studio backup that they got. They're in Vietnam.
Wow.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
this
Like people don't know that. Like he'll mention it sometimes, but they have a full studio that they rent out, like a full like warehouse thing, like a little warehouse, and they put all that stuff in there, and that's what it is. Like you and the way that they like, and the way to get around Vietnam, it's like you either buy you a scooter, or you buy your bike or something like that.
At the end of the day, I'm thinking I like cars, but fuck cars at this moment because cars are so expensive, gas, and yeah, I won't mind. Like, and I think too, I think this was Dr. Oz was talking about. A lot of people in Cambodia and Vietnam, these countries, they're always active. So that's what they live a lot longer. They're always doing stuff. So and they do stuff that's make them sweat a little bit. So I was looking like it kind of makes sense though. It's a different culture, different everything, man. So I was looking like, bro, I don't know, man. This is interesting. So like, so you say you moving to England.
Yeah, I moved to England. Now
Is
England is
that
expensive as
okay?
hell.
Is England? How's that? Is England like America as far as like the expenses?
It's worse because of the pound is stronger. Yeah, and
Okay, yeah.
it's a whole. It's like England is pretty much an island nation because what I mean. Like people don't think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is an island nation because it's three nations into one. It's like the United Kingdoms of England, of the United Kingdoms of Scotland and Northern Ireland, right?
Right.
So it's like territories and stuff like that. But England's is expensive, but you pay a lot of tax. But they have what they call universal health care. They have a lot of services. You don't have to pay to go to the doctor like that. You ain't got to you ain't got to make a life decision like, yo, do I get this tumor taken care of, or do I be in slavery for the rest of my life
Right.
just to live? Because those doctor bills is crazy. Education services, infrastructure, and that. But the real reason I'm going to England, one, because we already got houses and stuff paid off and stuff
Okay.
like that. And I'm tired. I mean, I'm not going to buy a house in Japan. I'm not going
Yeah.
to do that because the cost of how much you pay for whatever you get in the land doesn't make sense. And plus, it is what it is. The second thing is it's Europe, so I can navigate way better. The English speaking in Asia is horrendous. It's terrible. Korea is probably like the only country in Asia next to certain spots in Russia and Australia and New Zealand and the Pacific Isles, and Singapore that speak English really good, and Hong Kong, and Malaysia and stuff like that. But if you're talking about just pure, like you can be in England And then in an hour, you can be in France, or you could be in Sweden, or you could be in Italy, or you could be in Spain, or you could be in Portugal, or you could be, you can be in the Mediterranean, you could be in Malta, you could be in the top of Africa, you could be in Dubai, you could be in Greece. You can hit so many countries and do so much business with just crossing the border, just doing business.
Damn, look how beautiful that shit. Ooh, that bathroom. Ooh,
Yeah,
that bathroom sexy, man. I like that.
Look at that. Look at that. Look, you didn't even think that country looked like that, right? You didn't think,
man,
yeah, man.
That man, yeah, just DeAndre. If I put my 20 years in, I'm look like, yep. What I'm gonna do? Go to a country, smoke me a flat blunt, and just chill, man. Like for real. Like
actually, let me if I can reach my homeboy, because he's in Vietnam right now.
okay.
Like, yeah, he actually was in Vietnam right now. If I can,
you try to get him on the panel.
Yeah, because he's in there like right now. And if I can catch up with him, hold on. Let me see if he's around.
Okay. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Shouts out Black Pill Paradise. Everyone. He said I heard the women there give good top. Is that true?
I will not confirm nor deny nor incriminate myself.
You a married man, G-Andre?
Oh no, this is before, man. This is like, like I was in the Navy. Like, wow, man, come on, man. I was in the Navy. My wife already knew what it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I wouldn't have met her if I wanted, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in that sense. You know, so I be having conversations with my homeboys. We be over here just talking about what we used to do in the military. That's too late now. It's like, you already been here for like almost 17 years. What you tripping for now? Like, you know, this ain't right. But I don't want to promote international tricking. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? I don't.
We trying to like just do business and shit, man. Like,
yeah, I'm not trying to promote like the Dirty Foot Girl Coalition. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to do that. Like, and there's plenty of channels that do that. Like, go do you. Like, listen. I don't need to, because, you know, one guy's like, man, why don't you talk about the women? I said, look, man, check this out. Check this out. If you going about your business and you going to have a good time, the women are a part of the good time. Like, why we like having this conversation about that? First of all, if you a black man, like, I done seen the ugliest of dudes, like, man, just hideous. Just hideous.
Yeah.
Hideous. Like, hideous. They cool dudes, but they did not hit the Gene Olympics. Woo, it was terrible, right? And they done walked out with some beautiful women, and to be real with you, it's one or two reasons. The guy's successful. First of all, you being a guy from another country coming there, you're going to get the top of the top when it comes to the women if you're getting a pretty woman, but you're not going to get the top of the top in social standing.
True.
Right? If you get a pretty woman from another country that's below status in your country, right? That's below status in their country when you're talking about wealth, because they're not going to give their best women to you. You're not going to have access to their best women unless you know somebody and it's in their best interest to marry their woman off to you for a particular reason. And that's after they get over a certain age. This is just reality. These are just facts. So if you see this banging chick and she looks this good and you're coming into that country, you're coming into that country and stuff like that, then the problem with you is you're going to get a certain type of woman, and you're going to get a high-end, high maintenance female. That's what you're going to get. You're paying for the arm piece. Now, you get that woman if she's high standards. Then if you get a woman that looks good and she likes you for you, then that means you're saving her once again from herself, from her situation.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean she's a hoe and nothing. That means the women that you would have access to in your country, if you didn't have that money, is that your money is longer in their country because their stuff is lower, but she is above your pay. She's above your pay grade and looks or whatever, but she's not out there like a hoe. She's not like one of them high octane females or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, you're not going to get a woman that's pretty and her people's got money. It's a very low percentage, especially if you walking around looking like old dude from 300 that can't put a shield up with Leonidas. This not happening.
The old dude for 3.
I'm just being real. Like this is just facts. This is just facts. So I don't promote doing that, because if you go there and you get about your business and the men accept you because you're making money, they will introduce you to the baddest chicks and the chicks with substance and stuff. You're not going to come. That's like this, right? That's like this. Say you invite me to a family reunion, right? Right? And me and you are friends. You're going to introduce, and you know I don't have a woman, right? Right? But you see that I'm going to be a good dude and you want to bring me into your family. Like we like close like brothers. The best way to get that bond together is if I marry somebody within your family.
Yep.
You're going to find the best woman possible that's got her stuff together that we equally match and try to hook us up. Now, let's do it on the other end. I don't know you from a can of paint. I roll up to your family reunion, blinging and stuff, roll up in there, and I'm trying to take the best chick out of you know what I'm saying, from your family. You ain't gonna have it. Ain't none of the men in your family gonna have it. Who allowed him? Who is this guy? Who is this interloper? That's why I don't promote that, because a lot of these dudes are gonna go overseas and they're gonna get a couple of things if they just going for the girls.
Yeah.
They're gonna get might get themselves a dude. Right? You might get somebody that used to be a dude, but they identify as a toaster. Right?
Well, you see, and that's the thing, though. Like, you know, well, I'm a read Hawkhead Chief. So he said, "Your brother sound well traveled. Help me understand why they are protesting George Floyd in UK, Ireland, Australia, Germany, etc. Mostly non-black people." Like I said, it's a worldwide thing. Like, so we was just saying, like, you know, people all over the world, they kind of sensitive to our fucking issues. I think that's what's really going on. But then again, too, in my personal opinion, I think it's a hidden agenda behind all this too. You know, some niggas saying, some people saying he might be still alive. That's for a whole nother video. I don't want to really disclose that information on here, but I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I just think that a lot of countries, so they look at us and stuff like that, and they just see what the hell is going on. So, but we gotta understand too, like the Black Lives Matter movement, even though it was run by George Soros, so there's probably different connections that he has too that's influencing other people. We gotta understand too, take in mind like the crisis actors. You got a lot of people that's undercover as policemen, doing all these riots and blaming on black people. So it's a hidden agenda behind all this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like, and this is the other thing about what we was talking about earlier, right? This is the other thing about when people was doing all of this.
Yeah,
like they were. I believe, and this is me. I believe there's a big majority of people doing these protests, black, white, whatever, because white people are getting beat up too by the cops. They just get arrested. They don't die in police custody like we do, right? They execute us, but they still beat up these white folk. Like there's a lot of the police department pays a lot of money in settlements. They pay a lot of money in settlements nationwide. They pay a lot of money. It's a lot of cops doing a lot of stupid stuff, right? So it's happening. Now, for the Asian folk, they don't really deal with it so much because they kind of stay in their own mix in their own communities. And for some reason, all cops think Asians know some type of martial arts or something. So Bruce Lee, they might channel their ancient ancestor Bruce Lee and get kicked in the face or something. So they don't. Yeah, for some reason, you know, there's a stereotype, man. He might know that kung fu there, Bob, like, you know, and just punch him in the face or something. But the other thing is with like Latinos, they go through it. They go through it too, because it's not just the police; it's the immigration, it's the ICE that snatch them up. They're threatening to deport them. So they're seeing this happen over and over. So you got a lot of majority of folk that are against this police brutality and the heavy-handed tactics of the police. Now, there is a small, and you only need a small, right? You know how they say in the military, it takes one F up to mess up a whole 1,000 attaboys.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can do a whole bunch of good stuff, but it only takes one mess up to mess it all up, right?
Yep.
It takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bag.
Yeah.
So now you got these provocateurs that are far right and far left. You got these anarchists that just want to see the system burn down because they're just tired of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like these school shooters. They're pretty much liberal. They want rights and they want to do all this other stuff, right? If you think about it, they're far left liberals if you think about it. Because they're tired of getting messed with and picked on, and the system is this, and this, and they want their liberty. Because that's what a liberal means. Liberty. I want liberty. A conservative wants to conserve the status. And they don't want it. Yeah, they don't want to give them control. Yeah. Exactly. They want their maximum control. So it's on the far left and the far right are the provocateurs. Those bricks that just popped up. Those bricks that just popped up in those places, in these stores and stuff, those were by anarchists. Those are like people that want to bring down the system, but they're working in tandem with the far right. They're working in tandem.
I think they paid George to pretend possibly, yes, racism is wrong, but look at the video of this. So, okay, so when I was, man, so this is kind of crazy though, Just DeAndre. I might have to talk to you offline about this, but and because they saying George Floyd, maybe he's still alive, and the thing is that now I know Candace Owens said he was on methamphetamine, he was on fentanyl, he did have drugs in the system. They ran the autopsy, I guess, but they were saying that he showed up at his own funeral, and I seen videos of it. I'm looking like, it was a. Boy, yeah, that's what it was. A dude that says a ripped George Floyd shirt, and I had a closed casket, and I'm looking like, I didn't want to buy into it too much, but I'm keeping my ear up because.
Well, what it is okay. One thing, Candace Owens is a coon, right?
Yeah.
So let's just get that straight. Number two, that man died with all witnesses sitting right there, so he got killed. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no that what happened to him. There's no playing it, pretending, none of that. They killed him. And that cop knew who George Floyd was.
Right.
Because they worked together at a restaurant. Right. That cop had a long history of buffoonery and messery. Because they didn't want this to happen, to be honest with you, because it's been too much stuff. Yeah. Now, the stuff with the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Yeah.
The stuff with the other young lady. Hold on, let me
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor. So hold on, my homeboy he hit me up.
Okay. Some say they still see Tupac too. That nigga in Cuba. Oh no, yeah. Tupac dead, bro.
Yeah, he did. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to do these conspiracy theories and run with this narrative because this thing is getting totally out of hand for the establishment.
It is. Right? I mean,
so this is the white supremacists. This is the white supremacists doing this. But if they say it, any white person that says anything suspect, they getting canceled.
Yeah.
Automatically. So what do? You have a black person get up there and say these things. If they say it, then now you start thinking a little bit because of your conspiracy theory and your fears and your mongering goes into play. Now, this is one thing I will say. The two black people that died, that happened. We didn't find out about that until May.
Yeah, Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, that shit happened. Yeah.
That happened, but guess what? The Ahmaud Arbery thing happened in February.
Right.
Breonna Taylor thing happened. No, the Ahmaud Arbery happened in March, late March, early April. The Breonna Taylor thing happened in February. They're already buried. They're gone. So why
Mm.
all of a sudden you start hearing this? Remember when Biden went up on the Breakfast Club
Mm-hmm.
and he said, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black, and he was getting all that flack. All of a sudden, the
Yeah.
Ahmaud Arbery and the Breonna Taylor thing comes out. There's been that we've been worrying about COVID this whole time.
Oh, shit, let
Trump,
me send them. I'm gonna send them an invite real quick.
yeah,
Oh, but go ahead.
yeah,
Paste this.
yeah, yeah. So I think I have. Is it, what is it? There you go.
I'm gonna be real. I don't
Hey,
believe
hey,
everything
hey,
you read.
Will, it's right there. Just hit the link, bro. We ain't got our cameras on, so hit the link.
Yeah, yeah, you good, man.
Yeah.
Just put the
So
avatar up.
yeah, it's and that's what I'm saying. Like what I believe is that the George Floyd thing was something that they didn't want to happen. Because remember, if this was a planned thing, they would have arrested the officers already had them in custody. They didn't they didn't fire these dudes until people start protesting 4 days after the video was out. Remember, this was a live thing that happened.
Oh
People keep
yeah.
it was live when it happened. It wasn't it wasn't one of them things. It was live when it happened. Just like
Um,
the Andrew was it old dude Castillo when he got shot.
Orlando Castle. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
live. That
it was
was yeah.
live. The George Floyd thing was live too. It wasn't supposed to happen, but the Democratic Party
Shit.
or the left,
Hold on real quick.
yeah.
Hold on real quick. Hold on.
How everybody doing in the chat? What's up, Will? Hey man, just hit the link right there. If you already on, he's got to probably bring you up from the back because it works in the browser. Oh yeah. The media, everything's an agenda. Like you know what I'm saying. Like but they do it in two ways. When they try to gaslight stuff and then they try to break it down. Like they trying to talk about his criminal record now, like to get people not to feel the way they feeling because they gaslit stuff overboard. Like people are like going in. Like you know when the CNN reporter got locked up, like by the police. Like you gonna be that stupid? You really that stupid to know what's going on and you gonna lock up a black dude on CNN? Like I think that was like a ploy myself after I go back and look at it. I think that was a ploy too to keep the stuff gaslit. That's just me. Like I think that's a ploy too.
Yeah, grandmother's calling me. Everything. So is brother William Knox able to get in?
Is he in the back?
No, he's not in the back. He probably setting it up now because I put the link in the chat. Shit, anybody can get on here right now. I mean, I'll put the link in the chat, but uh,
Yeah, it's like yeah, you might as well just open it up, right? Everybody talk. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I mean, I don't mind Black Pill Paradise. Anybody? I mean, if y'all want to, uh, yeah.
we've been up here just
If
chopping it
we,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I agree with Black Pill Paradise saying I'm going to be real. I don't believe everything in the media puts out. I mean, you can't. You gotta. Like I said, man, you can't get all your source from CNN and shit, Fox News. You gotta get your shit from like I got Epoch News, I got Newsbreak, I got Reuters. You gotta be kind of versatile with that, and articles. Be careful with articles people share on Facebook too. Man, that stuff be like some fake stuff, and sometimes too, Justin, you know how you scroll on Facebook, people be posting stuff that happened like years ago. I'm
Yeah.
looking, you be thinking it's relevant. I'm looking like, bro, like, dog, that happened like way back in like 2005. Like, what you, you know, um, yeah,
I'm like,
man,
well, a lot of times when people keep posting stuff will come up in your mentions. Like
yeah.
it just happened. But if you don't read before you post something, because
Mm-hmm.
people are trigger happy, it'll bring up something like it happened right then and there, and people will run with that narrative. When they want to gaslight something, they'll gaslight something. When they want to suppress something, they'll suppress it. Like here's the thing. They're talking about they're talking about what is this thing? They're talking about all these riots, right? I don't call these people rioters, right? I call them liberators, right? The liberators,
Right.
right? The people that are smashing stuff and just doing stuff to be doing stuff, those are rioters because they're trying to incite something. But the people that are doing it for a cause and something like that, because of whatever, I call them people liberators. But sometimes you need to punch somebody in the mouth. How long are you going to tell somebody to stop bullying you and stop doing physical, emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual harm until you got to punch them in the mouth? Because like here's a perfect example. They got mad at Kaepernick because he was kneeling, right?
Right.
He lost his job or whatever because that's what happens. He was a martyr. No one cared. Then when they was marching in the streets, it took them 4 days to arrest these cops. Well, one cop first, right? Then when people started saying, well, why you ain't charging them with nothing? We know it's murder. Everybody's saying it's murder. The whole world saying it's murder. They were still taking their time. You know what sped up the process? Well, let's burn down a precinct. Let's start messing up, not our neighborhood or where we live at, right?
Right.
But let's start messing up the rich stuff. Let's go downtown and start tearing up these buildings. Start tearing up this infrastructure that y'all spent millions of dollars to push people out of their homes and start burning it to the ground. Do you notice when Kaepernick was kneeling, the only company that stood behind him was Nike?
Yep, they sure damn did, man.
But Nike knows that they get 90% of their money from minorities.
Yep.
And liberal white folk.
They make so much money, bro. Like, and he was sponsored by Nike too. That nigga Colin Kaepernick made more money on with Nike than he actually played with the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, damn, bro. But like, it's like I said, man. We just gotta do it for our own, man. Like I said, like like Dr. Claude Anderson was stating that. Dr. Claude Anderson was saying that have your own economic foundation, bro. I mean, have our money circulating within our own communities, bro. That's a start. And like I said, we gotta restore that trust for one another, man. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Like the stuff that we doing now, that I'm doing, create your stuff, and then just have your people support you. And then that can create inspiration for the next generation. That's the only thing I can think of, man. Wealth, land, owning shit, owning your blocks, like make it like everybody has individual talents. You know what I'm saying? So use your talents that you have, the money that you have, and buy up your block, buy up the hood. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I mean that's good because think about it, in Detroit, man, you can get a fucking house for like $50,000, $40,000. All you gotta do is fix it up and you own it.
Well, here's the problem with that, right? Let me explain something to you. It's nothing. Okay. Buying a home for $50,000. Let's say you go in Detroit, right? You're in Detroit. Right? You're from Detroit. So, so you buy a home in Detroit. It's $50,000. A whole house is $50,000. The going average rate for a house in America is between $85,000 to $150,000. So you're buying a house. Yeah, it's $50,000, but you're going to have to put at least $85,000 to $100,000.
Yeah,
you're going to have to put in another 50 in. So that's $100,000, right? So you put that 100,000 in. Are you going to live in that house? Okay, so let's say you live in that house. Now you're living in that house, but who's going to secure your house? Because the second that you buy that house and move into that house, it already depreciated in value because of the land prices around it. So the way that you do it, you have to do it like in a corporation, like in a vacuum. So this is what you do. You and a group of people have to buy the houses right next to each other. You have to buy like a block, a 4x4 block. Then you will have to knock down the house because you want the land. You don't want the house, you want the land.
I get what you're saying.
So, and then because a lot of these houses that are in Detroit or like that's on the East Coast or the northern East Coast, they're called row houses. They're stuck right next to each other. They're townhouses.
Yep.
A lot of them may have or don't have any space. So if they're like that, if you bought this house and you built it and you refurbished it and it looks great, it looks the Taj Mahal on the inside, but it looks like Beirut on the outside. And then then now you got to have other people move into that neighborhood. Okay, so say you moved into that neighborhood and you brought this house. Now you got $100,000 mortgage. Now you're stuck here for at least 30 years. Well, what about the schooling that's in that neighborhood? What about the services that's in that neighborhood? What about the infrastructure that's in that neighborhood? You got the best house on the block, but most neighborhoods are considered 12 blocks. That's a neighborhood. So what you need to do is you need to get a group of people, and then you guys buy the housing area, but then you knock down the house, rebuild it from scratch in that little cubicle block area, but you don't move in the neighborhood. Because if niggas knew that you brought it, they're going to come after your wealth. So you got to move other people in there and make money to get the recess. This is a business venture. This is what you see all this gentrification where you go through like
that's what I'm thinking too. Like building just because I know in Detroit it's many. Because the thing is, you can get house bills and stuff like that. Like you said, buying blocks. I remember it's like a one street. It's just houses. It's like burnt down, messed up. Like and of course the property value goes down because of that. But what I noticed is that if you burn on tear all those houses down like you said and just build it back up, and rent it out to people. I mean that's a good way for wealth though. But I mean.
I would say this. Right? Black people like to say buy the hood. Okay, first of all, you don't own the hood. The ghetto and the slums are where you put people that you put your like it's the trash can.
Yeah.
It's like it's the garbage disposal. It's that little net that you have when you're scraping the plate and you're about to put the trash in the garbage disposal.
Right.
That's what the slums of the ghetto for. Right? You don't want to be there. The Irish was in slums and ghettos. The Jews were in slums and ghettos. The Italians, the Germans, the Polish, all immigrants go to the slums and ghettos. But they get out of the slums and ghettos and they go find something somewhere else. What I would say as black folk is leave those slums and ghettos alone. Those are for the corporations because guess what? That land, those slums and ghettos were land that was appropriated by the government that they turned over to a contractor to build low-income housing underneath a contract. Those houses were never meant for you to buy them, to live in them, and to build a legacy because they're cheaply made, they're under code, they're just there to have their workers or their quote-unquote slaves eke out a living. They're slave quarters. What we need to do as black folk is we need to go and buy land just outside of the city.
Yeah.
Right? Knock down that land and build a community ourselves. Right? A starter community. Like you see these things I like to watch these things on YouTube, these tiny homes.
Tiny homes, yes. It's so, man, that is like one of the best way to start off. Like, it's like a studio, man, but it's cool. Like, good way to start off though. But thing is though, I was thinking about like a tiny home, man. I mean, it's not wrong with that. It's just to start something up and then you use that money, build up, and then you get something else. Yeah, that's all it is.
Because if you got the land, it's not the building, it's the land.
Yeah.
So if you buy like let's just say a quarter of an acre of land, like a half an acre of land. A half an acre of land. If you go to these houses, do you know a Hollywood mansion sits on a half an acre of land? Think about that for a second. So, 1/3 of an acre is your $150,000 home. That's like a front yard, a backyard in a gated community. A half an acre of land is considered a mansion. Listen how that mindset is. There is cheap land everywhere. It's just certain amenities that you're not going to have. So if you buy the land and you got yourself an acre of land or half an acre of land, you can put 4 or 5 tiny homes in there with space.
Land is the most precious asset.
And then what you do with this project, because I was thinking about it, what you do with this project is you help black people become self-sufficient and not codependent on the system. So I give you a perfect example. A 40-foot shipping container is about the same square footage as a one-bedroom apartment.
Mm.
Think about that. A 40-foot shipping container is the same square footage as a one-bedroom apartment.
Mm.
You didn't never thought about it like that, did you?
Wow, 40-foot shipping containers. Wow.
Think,
Same
think
a one bedroom apartment. That's wow. Same square foot, so one bedroom apartment.
same square footage as a one-bedroom apartment.
Well,
A 20-foot shipping container is the same square footage as a regular hotel room.
damn.
If you think about space, why is your living room so huge when you don't really spend that much time in it? Why is your bedroom so daggone huge when you don't spend that much time in it? Why is your kitchen so huge when you don't spend that much time in it?
Mm-hmm.
If you're in your bedroom, you're going to sleep.
Yep.
That's what you're doing. You're sleeping. If you are in your living area, you're being entertained. You're only cooking in the kitchen and you're only eating in the dining room. So you just have your dining room and your kitchen be all in one. You only need a stove, you only need an oven, and you really your kitchen really actually is basically 70% storage. It's 70% storage. If you look at all the rooms in your house, it's usually storage, clothes, everything. Now, if you got a woman, of course, because
Yeah,
you're gonna
first
need more
space people
space.
like
Yeah,
if you got kids and shit,
you got kids and stuff, you're gonna need more space. But here's an option: you buy you a half an acre of land. You make a you get like let's just say you get three shipping containers, right? A
Mm.
40-foot and two 20-foot on each end. 120-foot is considered the bathroom because you want a big bathroom, right? The other 20-foot is considered the master bedroom, just a bedroom. You have kids. They're going to live in the house with you, but when they get to a certain age, you know what you do? You build another 20-foot container on the same compound and they got their own room. They got their own area.
You just build. So basically, like you get that land, and you just build it. You just add on to it. That land
Oh
is
yeah,
so the land is more valuable than the actual house itself.
because you can pick up the
Right.
shipping container and then
Mm.
you can but think about the land. Guess what else you can do? You can put a hydroponic system down there. Now you just cut down your footprint in the grocery store so you can have your own food.
Gardens and shit. That's cool. I'm gonna read these comments here, and I'm gonna get to Will. Hey, Will, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, man, I
What's up,
appreciate.
man?
Yeah, man, appreciate you on this channel,
What's going
man.
on, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Of course,
Not
man.
much. Yeah, not
Happy to
much,
be
man.
here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, yeah. You in Vietnam right now?
Yeah, I'm in Vietnam. I'm in Da Nang, Vietnam right now, actually.
Okay,
It's a little
shoot.
beach city. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Oh
Uh,
no, no.
Oh
I,
no.
want
I was
you- I
loving
ain't
the
want you thinking that
conversation.
we. Yeah, I ain't want you thinking that we didn't see you here. Yeah, we.
Yeah. Like is
Well, I've known Dre for a minute. Like, he really put me on game before I came to I came over to Asia. Like, he really put me on game for a good minute, and I felt equipped when I basically came to Japan because he had gave me so much words of wisdom. I had no idea what I was going to experience because it was my first time in Asia, coming from California. So I was born in Oakland, raised up around San Leandro, and basically Japan. I came through on the jet program. Yeah, I don't want to deviate too much from you guys' land conversation. Like, when it comes to land out here, I found out that you can't buy the land here. So
mhm.
you can buy property and you can have a business in Vietnam, but you cannot buy the land out here, and that's what I think when it comes to. I'm not. Wait, where is everybody? Uh, your name is Stephen. Steph. Um, I only know Dre from this conversation.
Oh, this yeah, it's young he's a
Young man. Yeah.
yeah. He's hosting the panel. He's content creator and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um yeah. But
Yep.
Hey, shout out to you, man. Thanks for having me on your channel, man. I really
Oh yeah, no
appreciate it.
problem, man. No problem, man.
I
Are
like
you a
what
content
I
creator
have
as
fun.
well?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on. I just started a suicide prevention company last year that
Oh,
I'm
okay.
working on getting launched. So I'm out here doing my best. It's called Suicide Online Services. You guys could check it out
Okay.
at www.suicideonlineservices.com or SOS. I worked at suicide preventions. I volunteered and worked at multiple ones, and it was a lot of reverse gender discrimination I got working in a most predominantly female uh,
Okay.
office spaces, being one of the only few black males. That I decided that I can't really do this anymore. I want to start my own thing.
Okay.
No disrespect.
What
Uh,
what did what did I was gonna ask you like what kind of inspired you, like you said, to move to to a different country, to move to Vietnam, and how was you able to do it? Like, did you save a lot of money? Did you have like a plan or?
okay, so this is on some real nigga shit. This is on some real nigga shit. Let me just tell you that. I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's cool to say that on the channel. Let me see this on some real nigga shit. I got in the USA. I got caught up and with some driver license stuff, um, where I was driving on I was actually homeless at one point. I was
Okay.
living out of my car, so I had to use my car to drive, even though my license got suspended. So when I got the driving on suspended, it took 7 years to get that off my record. So like when you get that, you can't work for Uber or Lyft. And this was
Mm.
just in the Uber Lyft boom. So like right when everyone's working for Uber and Lyft, um, and I was trying my best to get a job there, my best to get jobs in other places,
Mm-hmm.
even with the UC Berkeley degree. Um, it wasn't landing, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out the USA because, that stuff is good and gone off my record. I can get a job on Uber and Lyft now if I wanted to. If I go back to the USA, it's easy. There's no
Okay.
worries. But I'm telling you that reason made me feel. I was angry. I was like, man, it's like my country isn't supporting me. My country doesn't want to help me uh,
Mm.
make big moves. So when I got the job in the JET program and I came to Japan as a track and field coach, I really felt like Japan kind of put me on. So um, I really appreciate that experience. And that's how I got to Asia for the first time. So that was my first time in Asia.
Okay. Okay. And you just and okay. And so you moved there and everything. So what do you do currently now in Vietnam? You said you still in your suicide prevention business. Um.
So yeah, I'm starting that up. I'm doing some
Okay.
English teaching on the side, and a lot
Okay.
of entrepreneurs come to Vietnam because the cost of living is so cheap.
Man, I looked at
It's
the homes
ridiculously
there.
cheap.
I was looking like, dog, like you can get a 3 bedroom, 2 baths for like $350 a month or 400. I'm like, damn, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
it's like that.
I'm looking
yeah.
like shit. Let me move down there, man. Go to Cambodia or somewhere, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. That's so okay. So, because I didn't know, like,
yeah.
you still can take a plane there. That's good though. So you went there and everything, and you just started up for yourself and got you a home. Now, how is it? How now? What's the process like in getting a home? Like you get there. Did you had to like? Is it the same process? Like, do they check your credit? You gotta get a property manager. Did you go online?
Basically, here's how I did it. Um, I just do Airbnb like everyone else. Just Airbnb it, and then you find the spot that you like. You come through, and you just let them know that you're staying here for like you're just gonna stay here for a long time.
Okay.
Like, oh, how much is it? How much is it discounted from staying here for a month? And then when they know you're not just staying around for 2 3 days, they'll give you a cool discount.
Mm,
So,
okay.
and you don't even have to go through Airbnb at that point because you already created the link. Out here in Vietnam, everyone uses an app called Zalo or
Okay.
Zialo. That's what you download. It's called Zalo. If you come out to Vietnam, get that app. So everyone uses out here. Whatever, regardless if you want to do some business or talk to some chicks, that's the app to have. Um,
Okay. Okay. So I didn't know that you can
yeah,
stay on your Airbnb like long term there, and then you say they give you just got to make a payment, whatever. And
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Or just maybe like okay, so when I first came here, I did Airbnb, and what I had to do is they wanted me to do Airbnb so I could give them a good rating. But after that, they didn't care. As long as they got their money, they're not tripping. So if they can get their money, they're not going to care if you do Airbnb or not. But they're going to want that rating maybe once, so they can post a picture of you smiling and you can give them five
Right.
stars and all that. And it's good for you on Airbnb. So I didn't get a home out here in Vietnam. Um, I'm very cautious. Um, I mean, because it seems like I would have to be married or I would have to do something like that. I'm very
Yeah,
cautious about that right now.
you can.
Um,
From what I
as a
heard,
person who's still, I don't consider myself established. So
Okay.
well, and see, I'm glad that Will said that because, like Will, you don't know on these YouTube streets, there's a contingent of people putting out false information about just going overseas and smashing dirty foot chicks, and then
Yes.
everything's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And that's not the
mm,
case. You know what I mean? You can't be just going like. But I said there's a difference between tourism and being an expat. So they're not wrong if you just
right.
touring. If you just like visiting Vietnam or these countries for a week or two, then
Yeah.
yeah, of course you can be a savage because you're going back to your real life.
Mm,
If you're trying to move, like nah, that's a whole different beast right there. Like you gotta. It's like, but what in
it's
Vietnam is you can
yeah.
buy property. You don't have to be married, but
Hmm.
you have to have that bread. You're not going to get like a loan to subsidize anything. You got to have that bread, like cash, ready to go
Yeah,
up front.
no,
And
you
you
have
got
to
to be
get a
there for at
loan.
least
Yeah,
90 days 90 days to 6 months at a minimum, and you just got to show bank documents like that you're intending to move there, or that if you're intending to buy the property and rent it out, even if you buy the property, you got to be there. I think you got
Yeah.
to live on the property for 60 days before
Right.
you rent it out as a business thing. So a lot of times with a lot of these, you'll see a lot of these, because Will, you probably met like a whole bunch of like these retired investment bankers from like the UK and Australia and Europe and stuff. That's over there,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you
And
meet them.
yeah, and them
Military
dudes, that's what they
people
do. Yup,
getting that check every month. Yep.
yup.
Man, that's
That check.
good, man. It's
Yep.
just so yeah, cause well, man, I know you pretty much hear a lot of shit that's going on down here, with brothers in America, man. Like, in Vietnam, do you experience any type of oppression, man, or you just feel like they treat me like a regular person, long as I'm taking care of my business?
Of course, man. I feel like it's always there. Like in Asia, it's always there. I'm not
Hmm.
sure where you are exactly right now. Are you in the USA or Asia?
Yes, I'm in the USA, man. I mean, niggas we still struggling
Oh,
down here, like.
Yeah,
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah.
he's
Like I
like
hear it's great.
I
I'm
mean,
look,
this
just
look,
shit
look,
is
look.
seeing, man.
fucked up, man.
Hey, Will, you heard it in his voice, right? The discouragement.
I'm serious, man. This
Yeah, I
shit
did.
crazy
Yeah,
over here, man.
I didn't know, man. I'm just saying, like, hey,
I
stay
mean, because I'm
strong,
looking
brother.
like,
Like, I don't care. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
hey, Will,
I was
Will,
going
I'm gonna
through
say
some
this,
bad
man. You
shit
ain't
right
missing
now.
it. Will, you ain't missing nothing if you're not in America. You good. You good. Stay over there,
Oh,
man.
I know.
Like,
No, I know, man. I
But
know.
look,
Like, I think Dre would call it being on the plantation, and I think that's a good way to say it.
Yeah,
Because once you get off, like I came to Japan and I was spooked of the cops still, but they were waving at me.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yo,
it's a whole
Will.
mind fuck.
Will. Hey, you told
What's
me
up?
when you was in Shizuoka,
Yeah.
and the thing that the cops did for you. Yo, tell them about that story, man. Tell them about that story.
Okay, so
Like
there was a few times where
yeah.
I recognized that. Okay, so basically, we all went out and partied. Had like an Enkai, that's what they call it, and I experienced some racism from a Japanese taxi cab driver. I was actually with a white brother from the same program, and he just said, "You know what? Let's go." And I said, "Okay." Like I said, "All right, well, let's go." Like he's like, "The police station right there." I'm like, "What?" Like, bro, like why we? What the police station? Why? Why are we at? Bro, what did I do? What did I do? What are you talking about? But
We're
no,
gonna
like
turn
we
you into
walked
the
into the
cops,
police
right?
station because this is my mind. This is my mind.
No,
We went to the cops and we just kind of they straight up just told he straight up just told him in Japanese. The white dude told him in Japanese what happened, and the police made sure that the cab came out and got me to the where I'm supposed to go, bro. I'm like at this point I'm pretty much drunk. Like I'm just like whatever, man. But like I've had plenty of experiences where the police have always been there to help. They've never really came at me like they did in
Okay.
America, man. Like it's a
Wow.
whole different paradigm for me. In my personal experience with police in Japan, other people might have a different experience, but to me, they've been very kind and they're just very timid. Like they're just not. You like you said, if you're doing your thing, you're not doing anything weird. You're not
That's
doing
all
anything
we
crazy.
want,
You're
man.
not
That's all we want
outside
to
humping
do.
like a stop sign or some stupid
Yeah,
shit
I
like
mean,
that.
like, yeah. See, but
Nobody's fucking.
but that's what I'm saying though. Like, Will, like, I feel like if America, man, just invest in brothers' law. I'm talking about like if the not with the police as well. I mean, just leave us the hell alone, dog. Let me just take care of us. So I think a lot of this shit would be unnecessary, man. I mean, it's to the point, bro. Like, because it's very matriarchal here, dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it is in Vietnam. I don't know if it's patriarchal over there, but it's
I say like this, man.
I
It's
can't
not.
really. It's difficult to say, man, because I have way more experience in Japan than I do in Vietnam.
okay.
But I can say that, yeah, women act like women more so out here, and you don't really have to. Yeah, they're more feminine out
That's what I was
here,
about to ask. They're
for
more like,
sure.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're more feminine. They're not trying to, be the lead wearing
But they're
pants.
still women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
it's
Oh,
that's how you get that man's role,
oh,
though.
but you gotta understand. Like you gotta understand
yeah,
it
for sure.
in the biggest sense, right? Because me and Will, we in Japan. They're everything. Men are put at the top of the food chain and everything, even their speech. Like a woman talking to a man will never raise her voice to a man in public. Like she like
Yeah.
in Japan, the speech is different. There's a way that women talk. They have their
Yeah,
own language. It's only like I think it's only like 50
yeah,
unisex
man,
words in the
I love
Japanese
it.
language. Yeah, like is
Yeah,
men talk differently, like to women. Like women like walk either right beside a man or right a little bit behind him. The man walk in front. Like even in a mannerisms, bro, it's just totally different. They don't play
that's
that.
important.
Yeah.
That's important because a woman walking in front of no, look, man. A woman walks in front of you. If you're walking, if you got your chick, she's walking slightly in front of you. That's not good.
Yep.
That's not good,
Oh
man.
yeah, because you're supposed to be leading, so you're supposed to walk in front of her.
But you're
But
not just
not like
leading.
not. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't. Man, I'm to the point where that shouldn't even be a discussion. I mean, it should just be a
Yeah.
natural like inclination. Like
Well,
if you have to really teach that, it's like man,
well, I
like
mean, you're supposed to really
you
walk
might
on
have
the
to go
side.
try to
I
find a
mean,
different
just
chick.
walk on the
Well,
side of each other. But
no, but see, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference. Like when people say it's matriarchal in the US. It's not matriarchal because the people that put the women remember, it was a heavily man-dominated men's rights patriarchal thing in the 50s, right? So you take 1950, now it's 2020. So if you really think about it, that's 70 years it just flipped on its head. From a country that's only been around for 400 years, all of a sudden 70 years we're just flipping stuff on their head. All of a sudden,
I think you were talking about the black community, right? You weren't talking.
Yeah,
about
the black community, black
talking
people.
About the black community is matriarchal, or
you just talking about America?
I was talking about well, I was talking about in general in America, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to think about it like you got to think about it like this. And here's the biggest thing, right?
Mm.
Do women outnumber men?
Yes.
So if women outnumber men, right?
Mm-hmm.
If women outnumber men, and they've been outnumbered for the longest time, and women were allowed to vote, I think in the 1800s, then why is it that they can't put who in office and most women follow whoever men support?
Yeah, I mean, I think the election that just happened just shows you like where the society was still at. You know, like it was Donald Trump versus Hillary. I mean, so we could have had the first woman president in our history. That didn't happen. So I think that was a big loss for feminism. I think that was, personally, I don't want to get myself in too much trouble on this podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but I mean,
but the real reason is I'm gonna tell you this, right? Women would rather take a man that says grab him by the, that's a tyrant, than take Hillary. You know why? Because at the end of the day, women want protection. Even in a matriarchal society, men, because people think, okay, there's any society is functional or dysfunctional, right? Socialism, it can be really functional and it can be dysfunctional. Communism, same thing. Democracy, representative democracy, a monarchy, a patriarchal society can be functional, dysfunctional. A matriarchal society can be functional and dysfunctional. Either way, right? We even see it in the animal kingdom. Hyenas have a matriarchal society. They're able to survive, but the men still protect. They still protect, right? Just like bumblebees. They have a matriarchal society. But the bumblebee,
the queen go out and
queen don't go nowhere. The queen just sit there and lay and have babies. Yeah. Just have babies and babies and babies, right? And then
there's same thing with like lions and tigers, right?
Lioness do the hunting.
Yeah, that's a patriarchal society. But what does the male lion have to do? He has to protect. When it comes time, he still got to get up. But guess what? He ain't the only one kicking hyena butt. It's the lionesses with him that are kicking butt. They there to watch his back while he put them paws on people, right? And then when he doesn't meet the modicum of excellence and he gets too old, he gets challenged by what? Another male lion to take over and to move those genes down the line. So what we have to understand as people, and this is just my preview because I look at things in this pragmatic way, is that each system has its good points and its bad points, and it can be functional and dysfunctional. The problem is that we don't have a matriarch. The American system is not it's not matriarchal. Black people are because we, naturally that's how we are, right? But American Europeanism, Westernization is patriarchal, but it's not even that. It's plutarchal. It's basically there's a select group of men that use the minority in power, but the majority in population as a weapon. Women are used as a weapon to upset the natural order of things. So before the 1950s, like the 1950s and the feminist rights movement and all of that, women, if they got divorced, they would have to leave the home. They wouldn't have anything
They
because they
had that,
wouldn't get any support.
that security, right?
They didn't have any
Well, I
support,
know
right?
too. They yeah, when they divorce, they really couldn't divorce like that unless their spouse committed adultery. Um, 'cause back
And
then,
even if they did, they would
yeah,
leave with nothing.
you're right.
So what happens? You got these patriarchal men running Rapshaw. So what do these men do that want power? It's like basically the system is a plutocracy system, but it's like that dude, right? Let me give you a perfect example. And we'll probably see this too, right? So look at the Karate Kid, right? The guy Daniel was actually the bad guy. He came into a new place. He was a low dude on the totem. Everything was cool. There was a system in place. He upset the normal balance of the system by going after dude's girl. She only messed with him because she felt as though she was thumbing her nose back at dude because she had male backup. He wanted to be the white knight. He stepped up. He stepped in that place. He got beat down. But then he changed the narrative of being the little guy getting beat on by everybody else with the girl that used to be with the other guy. And this is what's going on. Now, could he actually protect him? There was protect her. No, there was multiple times that he was emotionally supportive and all of this other stuff, but he couldn't physically protect her. He had to be able to physically protect her to get that last point. Once he was able to physically protect her, then he overthrew, and now she's at a bigger system where she wields more power. But she's only there to wield power to take down other men on the behest of other men, aka cancel culture or Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, that's the shit that's going on, man. A lot of black men and shit, like Bill Cosby, motherfucker.
Like, and they did it. Listen. Let's just be 100. They did it.
Yeah.
They did it. You got to think about it, right? We got a black man dying in the street with an officer on his neck. A white officer killed this black man, right? Bill Cosby running around raping these white women
in their drinks,
right? Putting roofies in their drinks. And he been doing this so long, and now y'all want to take him to jail.
I think that was the huge outrage. I'm like, God damn, like all these 30, 40 women coming out.
What do you call that drug that he was using? Preludes or something?
Preludes, something like that, man. It was fucking
during that time. That's what everyone was using. Like everyone was doing that. I listened to like other people. Like I think Lil Boosie had something to say about that too.
Yeah.
I think he was just angry. He was saying like, "Free Bill Cosby, man!" Like he's like 80s.
I mean, though. I'm like that shit, but hey, it is what it is. I would think they was gonna free him because of this COVID shit, but
no. They listen. They don't care if Bill Cosby. They already took out his son a long time ago. But here's another thing. It's part his fault because he kept trying to buy NBC, and he owned. He kept trying to buy NBC.
Bill Cosby, I ain't gonna lie though. When I used to, I was looking at his tapes back in the day. Bill Cosby was fucking hilarious, bro. And he used to say a lot of things that was going on in the black community in the '60s, man. Like he talked about the church. He talked about a lot of stuff. I remember one stand up. He talked about the dentist appointment. They try to ask you questions why they operate in your mouth. That shit was hilarious. But I mean, Bill Cosby was funny as hell, man, and he was inspiring too. I mean, the Huxtables, man. You got black doctor, black lawyer. I mean, that's shit that we need in the community. I feel like his heart was truly to change the narrative of negativity from black Americans to positivity, that we can be somebody, we can do shit. Like that's what I like about Bill Cosby.
But I'm gonna tell you something about the Huxtables. Like I love the Cosby Show, but I'm gonna tell you something that I did not like, even with A Different World. What I didn't like is Bill Cosby did not run his household.
So you say, we know that.
His wife did, right? Yeah, even though he was a doctor, right? And he was
very submissive.
Yeah. She was very dismissive. She had a little attitude, and he had to make sure, when, we used to laugh. Like, remember, the oldest daughter's husband? He would say stuff,
and
then he would, Like, remember the grandpa, the older dude that would be grandpa, and he would look at him, and they would look at each other, and then all of a sudden, Claire Huxtable would read him his rights, and we would laugh, but we didn't really know what they was doing. Was they was emasculating black men right in front of us.
See,
What his son-in-law was saying was true. He was true. He came from a patriarchal family dynamic. So men took the lead. Men did certain stuff. And they were basically beating that out of him. Now, then you look at his daughter, Denise. The reason why she couldn't run her husband is because, that's where you had Raven Simone, right? Playing on there, right? She couldn't run over him because she didn't give that man no kids. And that was his daughter, and the only reason he was dating again because his wife died. And she wasn't trying to have any kids, but she wasn't doing anything constructive with her life anyway. So basically they were showing in this sense, right, that if long as the black woman, which is not a good thing, is not actually making any money, you can run your household. Now you got to make so much money because he was an officer in the Navy, right? So he's damn near making like 6 figures. So, but then I would say a show that was really good, that showed the dynamic was The Fresh Prince.
I was gonna say, Fresh Prince.
I was actually gonna say that too.
Yeah, Dr. Phil, bro. I was like Uncle Phil. I was like,
Phil was a judge. He was a judge.
I love that shit. And he also too, like, he always, like, when shit was going wrong with the family, like, he always found ways to get them out of trouble, like, and still like teach them discipline, like, especially Will when he bet the freaking car on a pool game. You know what I'm saying? And that's like how Phil just went down there and played the game, beat him, you know what I'm saying, got his car back and taught Will a lesson. I just feel like, that was some powerful stuff, man. That was and also too on Family Matters. Carl Winslow. I remember this one episode when his son was getting racially profiled, and he went in and stood up to the cops. You know what I'm saying, protect his son. That's something what a father's supposed to do.
But even with the stuff outside the home, because let's not get it twisted. Like, you would have them stand up outside the home, but I'm talking about the dynamic with their wives, right? So you looked at Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil never had that dynamic with his wife where he was going to get himself in trouble, or never had that dynamic with his wife where he like, oh man, the wife going, oh man, what I'm going to do, right? Yeah. He was the strong man in the house. He was the lead, and he always interacted with the boys. Then you look at Family Matters, it was the same thing. Him and his wife would have a conversation, but he would take the lead, and there would be some type of thing, right? And you got to think about it. The man that played the dad, Carl Winslow, the character, remember, he was taking care of his sister. There was a single mom. He had his mama in his house, and his wife, and well, he had 2 daughters. They got rid of Judy like she didn't exist. But you know what I'm saying? And his daughter. So he's got his nephew, his daughter, his son, that's a teenager. And even if you look at Steve Urkel, he even looked at Carl was like his dad because that was the only interaction you had, because you never met Steve's parents.
No, you never did.
You never seen them. You didn't. They was nowhere to be found. But you damn near thought Carl Winslow was his daddy.
I thought so, yeah.
But that showed the dynamic of how a village raised children. So if you think about it, this man, and then his wife had a nice job. She didn't have a bad job. She had a pretty much job because she actually worked. She actually worked at the newspaper, in Perfect Strangers. Like, people don't remember. Like, they started family members actually from her character.
Yeah,
from Perfect Strangers. Then you got House of Pain with Tyler Perry.
Oh, it's
right,
the cleaning lady.
Right.
I like that was okay. I really liked.
But if you notice, the men ran the household.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like that
one. You got a maid, man. You got a cleaning lady. Look
at special, babe. But let me read these comments, man. Hawkeye Chief said that former brother of Detroit is getting early release from prison. Actually, he's not. They actually denied that. So Carmen Kilpatrick is not getting out anytime soon right now. It's unfortunate, but doing 28 years perjury, a lot of shit going
Yeah, I'm
on.
a cleaning lady over here.
Oh, you got a clean lady. Oh, you special, man. That's what I'm saying, man. That's that privilege shit, man. I wish I had this.
Get out. All I can say is, man, can you leave the USA ASAP?
Well, I got
man.
take me a minute, bro.
Man,
Is that the USA? Like the USA? Look,
man, it's so much ugliness, man. The USA, but look, bro, it's man. I got it. Like, Will, I got to get you on here sometime soon, man. I got to interview you, man, for real, because
sure.
Like how to get to Vietnam, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like your story is unique. Like I said, man, you a brother. You know what I'm saying? You work.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. If you a brother, man, you working.
Like, I'm just pushing just pushing mental health. I'm just pushing mental health services.
Okay.
Mental health services. That's my purpose.
Okay.
I'm make sure that I'm creating my business so that I can provide free mental health care to everyone. I'm saying everyone. Like, I just met a person from Germany.
Okay.
And it's like, I need everyone, because I need this to be a transnational company. So I got rejected from Oxford a few months back. So I actually expected to be going to Oxford. I got rejected.
Wait, what do you mean Oxford? Like, you're going to attend as a student, or is for your job? I mean, for your business?
As a student.
Oh, shit, that's an elite school, man.
For an MBA.
That's a really
so I got rejected by Oxford, and I got another rejection actually from Babson. It's a number one entrepreneurship school. So I got those two rejections, and so I'm still, to me, I love failure, man. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, you gotta understand. Yeah. Well, Will, I'm gonna let you expound on this, but that's all part of being a man. You're gonna fail many times, but it's all about getting back up and learning from your mistakes. That's what I feel like if a lot of young men understood that, you will actually, because that's part of manhood, that's part of the journey. I mean, you can't. It's inevitable. You get what I'm saying? And it's like you got a positive mental attitude. Because I was talking to some brothers, man. They was getting kind of depressed and sad because they still living at home and shit, man. Don't got a job, don't got no, because of this COVID stuff, and then they don't got a car, and they just feel like they in their mid-20s still living at home. They feel incompetent, man. So, and I'm just saying, like, you still gotta get out there, man. It's all part of the game, though, man. It's just have a goal and just.
It's sad. It's sad. I'll tell you this. It was the day before I left to Japan, and I was talking to Dre.
Yeah.
Because me and Dre, we'd have long talks. He put me on hella game. We'd have long talks. It's the day before I left for Japan. I called Dre. I was like, man, today's the last day here. He was like, man, I remember Dre said, I'm like, man, you better get your ass. You better get your ass to that airport, boy. Like, you better get your ass over there to the airport. I'm telling you, before I left from the USA, I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't want anyone to stop me. I got to the airport. I was afraid I would oversleep, man. Because, look, man, the minute these borders open, I'm telling you, bro, like, I just hope that you and many other brothers can go ahead and get on out of the USA and get somewhere else. Even if we experience racism out here, it's still in a different way.
Well, like I said,
and I'm actually baffled that the world is actually looking at George Floyd as something different.
Well, see, and well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I gotta, because I'm in the military right now, so I got I do my contract, do my stuff. So, but when that time comes, though, yeah, that's for sure. I, settle in a different country, man.
Man.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem, man. No problem, bro. And once I do all that, then best for settle, man. Move my family out there. We're gonna chill out. You know what I'm saying? So, I want that, man. I just want to see how that is, man. I mean, shit, we only got one life to live, so fuck it, just.
just get it. Like, because even with that whole expound on that conversation, man, Will had, because me and him was talking back and forth. I was giving them the rundown and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you know, and me and him was having a conversation, and what I actually told him, I said, "Yo, get your butt to the airport." But I was telling him because I think he remember this. I said, "Don't tell nobody you gone until you gone."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because they'll try to mess your stuff up, man. Like people will be like, they take you somewhere, you know, you get into an argument, police come get you, your passport, like you lose your job. Like, I told them, don't even let people know when you're leaving. Just allude to it and then silently, like, don't even post on Facebook until you actually like a week into where you at, that you know you're not coming back. Like that you know that you ain't coming back. Like, and then, you know, of course, the certain people need to know, like, you know what I'm saying, just to keep the tether option going. But just get there. Like, and then when you gone, you gone. And let them hate from over there because you're already gone. Like, let them hate.
Right.
Like, they can't do nothing to you because people, a lot of times, man, before we get to the point of racism, right? Because white supremacy and racism in America is so good that it doesn't have to activate until you get to a certain level. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it's like the final boss in a level, right? Like you playing a video game or something. It's training because you got to make it through your own people.
It's like you gotta level up so goddamn much to the point it won't affect your ass and you can beat this motherfucker.
And then you get to the point where where you see the racism exactly.
Right.
Because when you hear black folk talk, man, ain't no white man holding you down. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or
exactly.
Nigga, this shit on my neck, dog.
Like unless you live in certain places, like you say you from Detroit, right? Like think about it. Here's the biggest thing, right? I'm in Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. The police would not mess with you unless you was in a place where they deem you didn't belong. Give you a perfect example. You cross Martin Luther King Boulevard and you downtown Baltimore and you acting like you act uptown on the block. Guess what? They taking you to jail. They're gonna run up on you, right? But if you on the block acting up a little bit, long as you ain't shooting or selling drugs, they don't care what you do.
Yeah.
They don't care. Actually, they just there to watch you. It's like basically you a prisoner. Yeah, actually it's prison, right? It's lockdown. Like you in C block. You in the prison. Because they sit in their squad cars and they just sit on the block and watch, and then they roll off, and then they roll up. A lot of times they'll roll up, get off the block, clear the corner. And once dudes clear the corner, and they'll just drive off. And then next thing you know, niggas will come back to the corner and stand there. Right? And then and then the police will come back through, and then everybody know to scatter. And the only time they jump out of the car is when somebody want to be a hard head. They want to
hard head. Yeah. Right? Well, yeah.
Like, man, I ain't leaving this corner. I ain't did nothing. And next thing, like, yo, didn't we tell you get out the corner? Man, I can stand on this corner if I want to. Dude, come out. All right, lock them up. And then they take them down and then they extra mad. So they beating them up because they got to do some work for the day that they could have just had a chill day. Because they people too. I'm not giving excuses to the police. I'm just telling you this is what happens. But let you be downtown being loud and acting raunchy, they gonna lock you up for disturbing the peace.
Well, you see, you know, like as me in Detroit, man, it's kind of rough. Like I said, I witnessed like a brother, like I said, got killed, man. All that type of that unnecessary shit, man. It's just like, damn, bro. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like I need a new scenery and stuff, man. And I can see like, you know, like Will, like you know, you moved there because you was like, damn, like. I mean, I know it's like your responsibility.
But still, like I come from Oakland, bro. Like I come from avoiding sideshows to get home. You know, trying to stay out of trouble, and still, I've still been arrested twice. Although I have a clean criminal record, I've still been arrested twice. And I would consider myself an academic. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, so because yeah, because I see you trying to get to these elite schools, man, and Oxford and stuff. You've been applying. That's good. So you're gonna keep on applying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to because I went to Berkeley, so already it's a name brand. So
Yeah.
actually, right now I'm in the process of applying to Berkeley again because they have a double bear. It's our mascot's a bear. They have a double bear program, so I'm actually applying to go back. Um, and I'm conflicted now because we're at a point where it's like if they say you have to be here physically, I don't know if I'd want to do it exactly.
Oh, I'm on.
Um,
Yeah.
This is just my
yeah,
advice.
America, like, man, I remember days where I was in Berkeley. I was talking to my ex-girlfriend on the phone, and I was walking around the neighborhood. It was in North Berkeley. It was a white neighborhood. So it was because it was the wrong place. Like if I were in Oakland or other somewhere else, like Dre was saying, it's the geographical location of where you are. And it's like I got called the police on. I'm just on the phone, walking around the neighborhood, talking like a
Wow.
normal
See,
person.
yeah, it's just ignorant shit, man. It's just yeah, and you get tired of that though, man. It makes you go crazy, you know. It's just really sad though. But like I said, man, I mean, it's just the way the world is. I mean, because living in this country, you be like, damn, man, it's this world, it's the end of the world as we know it or something. Like, it's just like, God dang, man. Like, you
I,
know,
Yeah,
it,
listen,
yeah,
me personally, like and like to Will and stuff. Like I would just say, man, if you get accepted, you got to do that for the betterment of what you're trying to do. Sometimes we got to be uncomfortable. What
most
we
that,
like to do, and what we have to do
right.
to achieve our goals is something totally
Right.
different. Like, it would be great to be in Vietnam, kicked up, chilling with all that sunshine and wonderfulness.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
On the beach,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It'd be
you
nice
know
to
what I
be
mean?
like that, but
Yeah, but
my purpose is greater than me.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
right, right,
if I,
right,
so
Yeah,
right. Well,
because if I can really bring, like, I'm trying to tell you guys, like, this is a suicide prevention program. I need to I'm getting my non-disclosure, my NDA is ready,
hmm
but basically is basically gonna move the process from like Steve Jobs said it best. The world is becoming app based, right? You use an app for everything. I don't know about like if you get out the USA, when you get out, when you start moving, like what I've noticed is that people don't really use numbers out here like that. It's really a lot of apps, um, WhatsApp, whatever, Zalo, whatever, wherever you are. If you're in Japan, it's Line. Like they just use apps for everything. So this is big. I want it to be a transnational program. I just have so many gaps in my business uh, understanding. I've never had a business before. It's my first business I started. Um, I did something like I've created a Facebook group before with a few thousand members. I did things like that, but nothing to this level, this scale. So, um, yeah, you guys wish me luck. Like, I don't know anyone else doing what I'm doing
that's good,
like
man.
this. When it comes to suicide prevention, I lost a brother to that. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. My fraternity brother took his life in
Wow.
2012.
So let me ask you this, Will. And what do you think? Like, a lot of brothers, man, taking their lives. Do you think it's because they have a negative expectancy of like the world, or they just going through so many damn trials and tribulations? They feel like they don't have a way out. What do you think is like the root
I
cause of?
think it's all about what we've talked about, man. Like it's all of what we've been talking about. It's all of what we've been expressing. And I can't say one person was weaker than the other person who took their life because it takes guts to take your life.
Yeah,
It's not easy to just jump off of a bridge.
shit hurts.
There's a man named Kevin Hines who survived the San Francisco bridge jump. I want to see if I can get it talking with that guy, but um, yeah, it takes a lot to take your life, man. Um, and I've been through it myself. I've been through depression myself. I've seen many therapists. I majored in psychology at Berkeley, so I I shut down the whole stigma of going to see therapy. I had a lot of therapy in my life, and that's what I think the Black community needs. We need, like, I didn't realize how fucked up I was until after I started going to therapy so much in college.
Mm.
But it saved my life probably. So, I think he took his life. His name is Elgin Olu Stafford. He was openly gay, so he had to face a lot of discrimination, especially being in the Black fraternity, um, and Black campus. Um, and yeah, he had to deal with a lot. He has a foundation called
Mm-hmm.
the Elgin Olu Stafford Foundation.
Okay.
A very bright guy. My older brother, my big brother.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, he was
Okay.
just. I think part of it, and part of it was him being openly gay. And it's funny. It's not funny. It's interesting because I remember I defended him because it was one night I defended him um, because I looked at my brothers and they didn't like that I wasn't Christian. So I think that's a big thing in the African American community in America
Yes.
as well as being Christian, part of the
Yeah.
Christian community. So if you're not Christian, I think you're missing out on a lot of the what. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, if you're Christian, like, and you're not based in the Christian community, are you missing out? Like, are you not as powerful if you're not a Christian and you're African American?
Well,
Because, um, you
well,
know, I
coming
felt
from
discrimination for that.
so okay, well, coming from a Christian myself, like, um,
Hmm.
it's just that in the Black community, this would, I guess, is sort of like we're taught. This will be brought up in the Black church, the church, and if you go to the Black community church, like on every corner. That's mainly like our really our source for hope. That's our source that help us get through the week. And we look up
Oh
to.
no, and I know, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
know.
And so that's very pinnacle, like especially, our parents' generation, they put down on that, put that on us a
Of
lot. And
course.
and some of them are really impactful in the community. So when you're trying to do things, it's not necessarily that you're less incompetent. It's just feel like, dang, it's already a lot of stuff going on against Black folks. So all we have is God. And so if you don't worship God in our way,
Right.
then we looking like, okay, you you irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what that
Mm.
is. And that has I was talking to my homegirl about this. We have to kind of break that stigma, because that's actually that's not how what Jesus Christ wants us to live. He wants us to, like, not form a religion, just go out and do what he has done. Spread the good news, spread the gospel.
Yeah.
Uplift one another,
Look,
man.
man, I'm not here to bang on your religion like that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not here to bang on your religion
yeah.
because look, I've lived in a Hindu temple for 2 years.
Okay.
Like, I in Berkeley at the Berkeley Krishna Temple. Like, I learned how to chant. I studied yoga. I've been a Buddhist. Like, I really am a Buddhist and a Taoist more so than any other thing. But it took me, and I tell you, I came from a little bit of privilege. So I was able to get to the Christian schools and the Catholic schools my whole life, and I was
Yeah.
fed that stuff. Um, so it rubbed people the wrong way. Certain things in the Black community rub people the wrong way. Being homosexual, like my fraternity brother that
Oh,
took his life.
yeah. Yeah.
Being non-Christian, like myself.
Yeah.
Like, certain people rub things the wrong way, and it's like, until we get past all that, like, until we can be like, okay, this brother's a Buddhist, okay,
Right. We
this
can work
person
with it.
likes this person, this
Mhm.
woman likes this woman, and we could just say, like, let's just let it be. Let's just be as a people, and let's just move, and let's just create rather than destroy. You know, I think
Right.
that's what we have to do as a people more so,
And it's
and I think mental health plays a lot in that.
and
We've been.
yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about that brother that killed himself. Was homosexual. I'm pretty sure received a lot of scrutiny when he was homosexual. People saying, like, you're gonna go to hell, that type of stuff. He probably heard a lot of that stuff. He probably heard that, God disliked this.
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah,
that's what they were saying, and that's what I was trying to tell you guys. Like, I
yeah,
stood up for him because I was like, you
Mhm.
guys think I'm going to hell because I'm not Christian, You guys think he's going to hell because he's gay.
Right, because you don't believe what.
That's
That's for a whole nother
you know
discussion.
what?
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah. I mean, and it's
yeah,
because like
but
if you grew up in a Christian,
my point being is that we got to get past all these different hangouts we have as a people,
yeah,
like, and I mean, bro, like if you like, so I looked into the history of Christianity and how it came about, and I
hmm
couldn't rock with it, even though like if my grandfather lived when I was a young kid, he was very much into the black church. I had my whole family into the church, but when he passed, my whole family kind of took a break from the church to where I was a kid asking to be brought to the Christian church. Like, hey, can I get a ride to church today? You know, like, oh, I want to go to church. Like, I was never forced. I always was seeking that that knowledge, and I still feel like, man, if you invite me to go to church, I'll go with you. I'm not gonna say, no, man, I'm not Christian. Nah, man, I'm not Christian. I'm not gonna go to church. No, I'll go to church, man. I'll learn something. Something will be learned.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's cool. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, like I said, man, it is a lot of division. Like I said, because we can work with the Muslim brothers in the black community. They know some stuff. The Moors. We can work with
Too much division.
but that's the thing, and that's why we
We're
can't
all
get anything.
fighting against each other. We can't build.
What and that's what I'm saying, and we all know that it's a huge situation. We are facing a huge issue, police brutality. We facing that, and a lot of other stuff that's going on against blacks. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, what's the name, George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? They say he was a Mason and stuff. He wasn't a Christian, so it's like, but we still, you guys still got Christians and Muslims, other people with different beliefs that feel like that was wrong. How he died, are still marching for his behalf. So it is potential there, regardless of what you believe in. It is potential. You know,
I would I, I would say this, and this is just something that I like to, like, just throw out there. And I don't like whatever anybody's
Yeah.
religion
So I
or
mean,
spiritual understanding, but when it comes to the advent of civil rights, the reason why we as black people haven't really gotten anywhere in America, to the point where we need to get to, is all of our civil rights is based upon the leadership of religious leaders. And that's not a good thing, because you actually have to actually believe in the religion and that modicum of the religion to that point for you to be sympathetic to the cause of the
to
people that's
gain that power.
I
disenfranchised.
got you.
Yeah,
So we put too much
yeah,
thought to the religious leaders, and to the point that
yeah,
we have been
yeah,
influenced by them. Yeah, but for
yeah.
one, monolithic thought. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
because and here's another thing. Not that, and I have nothing to say against Christianity, whatever. I grew up in a Christian home and stuff, but I'm not that. Like, I'm spiritual more than anything.
Yeah.
I do things differently. Like, there's people like that. He's more Buddhist and Taoist. Yourself, what I mean, yourself. Or you're a Christian. Myself, I believe in the laws of alchemy and the laws of the universe. There is a creator. He created these rules, and I need to use these rules of the universe and spiritual energies to get what I want out the universe. If I was made in his image, I need to be a scientist, or what I'm saying, or a spiritual scientist in that matter. So I believe in the old teachings of the old spiritual energies and religion. But the but
More
the other
African, Afrocentric.
yeah, it's
Right.
more like, it's more like that, right? So that's how I go about doing it. But here's the thing: in the history, no people have ever been able to overcome poverty or being disenfranchised by believing in the same God as their oppressor. No people have ever done that. None at all, right? On the coins of the United States, on the currency, it says, "In God we trust." And it was based upon the Christianity belief, right? When slaves were brought over, they were converted to Christianity. Now, if you're praying to the God, now let's just say God is a God, right? Let's just say the way they have it, and that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm praying to God and I'm being, pushed down, But the same person that's holding me down, I'm praying for freedom, and he's praying to keep me enslaved. Whoever logically is doing the most for this God and giving them the most praises, because gods are only as powerful as people that worship him and give him the most. I'm a slave. I'm building the temple with my back. God, please let me break free. Well, if I let you break free, you won't build this monument and the shrine to me. So I'm going to answer his prayers over here that said, keep them enslaved so we can build this great monument to you. If you think about that mindset and that ideology, it makes complete and total utter sense, right? And then it doesn't make any sense on that notion. And I'm not saying Christianity is based in that. I'm just saying is that the people that bastardize the actual religious practice of Christianity, right, and used it as a fulcrum, just like in Islam, right? Think about it. Remember, Spain and Portugal was under the thumb of the Moors. Both majority of Moors were Muslim.
Right.
So who backed Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand to basically have that insurrection of Constantinople, right? It was the Catholic Church. They were Catholic Orthodox Christians. Islam versus Christianity. Think about it. The long as you believe in the same God as your oppressor, you will always become oppressed. That's just straight up. In that sense, right? I'm not talking about now. There were good-hearted Christian folk that helped during the Underground Railroad and the abolitionists that they believed that black people should be free. So if y'all are on the same accord with I need my freedom and you agree with my freedom and we believe in the same entity, then we're good. But if the majority of the people with the guns are believing in their fulcrum of Christianity, that is only for white folk or whatever, then you can't expect that person to give you just off the merit of the religion and its tenets to give you freedom. It's not in their best interest. So you have to make it more expensive for them to keep you enslaved than for them, to release you, right? So that's what slavery was. That's what slavery has always been. Why do you think they stopped slavery in the Caribbean first? Because it was too expensive, because slaves kept revolting. They kept going against the practices, and they kept their religion. They kept their faith in their spirituality, and they saw a common goal. And the common goal was, I'd rather die than be a slave another day. If I die, I'm gonna take 5 of you with me. Right.
And slaves weren't cheap.
Slaves weren't cheap either.
They had to come out of pocket every time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And then you got this one slave that he's strong and faster, but yeah, you killed him, but he took out like one of the, like, say he went into the farmhouse and burnt it down while everybody was asleep. Yeah, you killed him, but he killed the whole family that was supplying the money. So guess what? Slaves get divvied up. And then and then it gets too expensive to keep these slaves, right? You got to get rid of them. Like a lot of slaves that were in the Caribbean, a lot of them were actually sent down to South America. They were banished to certain places. Like, people don't know, Trinidad and Tobago was actually the first free nation of slaves in the Western Hemisphere, not because they fought for their freedom, it's because it was a penal colony and they just let it go. Haiti's actually the first nation of slaves that revolted against Napoleon himself. Napoleon, France was running stuff to the point where Napoleon was pretty much almost on some take over the world stuff. And then you got Dessalines that started the great Haitian Revolution, and he basically he massacred every French person, white French person on the island of Haiti, massacred them, like executed them. Like, so that's when it became too expensive, right? So I don't have a problem with Christianity because a majority of the Christians that I run into, it's about spirituality for them. It's about daily communication with God. right?
Yeah.
What I have a problem with is the minority of people, but the majority in power will Christianity as a blunt force trauma device. And black people have that really bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. We need. It's like we always kind of look up to a leader, man. We look at pastors as leaders, man, and telling us like, hey, you need this. We need some closure. Like we need this shit that you're gonna go through. It's gonna be okay. Going to be peace. And we look up to that individual. And so once he be like introducing politicians or a certain agenda or whatever, we for the most part we run to it, and then we can't. It's kind of like in our mindset when someone challenge us, what we believe in on a weekly basis, we got a problem, we got an issue. And it is sad though, because when I look at like, as like I said, when that brother killed himself because he was gay, man. I mean, yeah, even though in the Bible it does speaks about homosexuality, you go to hell, but I mean, it's just a better way to like kind of approach it instead of just like condemning that person. You get what I'm saying? Like, understand why he's in that situation. Was he molested? Was he bullied? Did he have bad experiences? And then try to provide him with resources. If you feel a negative way, provide him with resources so he can turn away from his ways instead of just being so direct with him. Like, hey, you going to hell, all that type. So nobody want to hear that.
Yeah, you know what? I think some of that is actually genetic. To be honest with you,
Genetic. Okay.
Genetic.
You talking about the what?
Genetic.
Well,
If
you know,
yeah. I mean, well, I do think like.
I think some of it's genetic.
like,
Well, okay. So, Will, explain to me why you think it's genetic, if you don't mind.
Okay. So, I know a pair of twins, and both homosexual. Also, a family with multiple people in the family that were homosexual. Now, look, I can't tell you that I don't know their history or that I don't know that they have been molested or something like that. But we both know that twins share more of the same genetic code than not, right? And they're both the same. Like, it wasn't like they're twins and one was homosexual and one wasn't.
Yeah.
So that kind of had me thinking that this could be there could be some genetic predisposition or something that changes in the chemistry of the human body that we don't know about. I don't know.
Yeah,
is all I can say.
Well, I believe that. I believe that. Like, but if you think about it, Christianity, I think Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, like Christianity comes from Judaism, right? And Judaism and Islam is pretty much almost the same religion. It's just different sides of it, right? Because if you go back, they would say, the maker or the forefather of Islam is Ishmael, but if you go, then you look in the Bible, then Abraham was his father. Abraham was what they would call a Jew, right? So, and he was Abraham's oldest son, but by a handmaiden, aka a slave. So he couldn't, do certain things. So, basically, that is only in that religion. There's multiple religions all around the world, but that homosexuality thing is in it. So why would you think they would have it? Well, if you have homosexuals, then you have this thing thinking that these people are not going to have babies because you need men and women to get together to make babies so you can have a country. Because people are
the same thing when the Europeans.
Yeah.
Same thing when the Europeans found the Native Americans. Because the Native Americans, I don't know. So Native Americans I'm part of a Native American church. So I rock with the Native American spirituality stuff. I've also did ayahuasca. But when it comes to the Native Americans, when they were found, they had different genders, and they had people called two spirits. So I took a class at Berkeley, and I had a Native American teacher, actually, Professor Lee, and she taught me. It was my first study. It was my first class, only class I took on gender studies. I walked into the class and I knew there's a lot of gay people in the room. I already knew. I felt kind of like, okay. I felt kind of like I'm only, I felt a little
Uncomfortable.
by myself, but a lot of women in the class too. I was like, dang, they're looking at me like, okay, well, so I'm in the class and I learn about two spirits and I learn about, other things like that, like how they were colonized, how they came in, and how they changed it from a matriarchal society to a patriarchal one. So that further just proves the point of the patriarchal side of the Eurocentric mindset, thinking that that's where it should be.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think like, what, I'm not gonna act like I know everything. That's the thing I won't do. And
Yeah.
I can say the same thing with religion.
Yeah.
That's why, what, I'm not gonna be a certified anything in religion. I can't say I'm anything. A Buddhist. I can say I like I like Buddhism, I like Taoism, I like
So like, let
Afrocentric,
me, cause
African religion.
well, I used to
Mm-hmm.
because I know what Buddhism, it does teach you to go within and everything, and the chakras. I'm very knowledgeable about that, but because I used to study astrology, that type of stuff. Some of it has some real points into it, because I used to balance it out, talk about the third eye and all that type of stuff, and your signs and what you should be doing in your and on Earth, the zodiac signs, all that type of stuff. Um, I mean, I guess whatever works for you, man. At the end of the day, I just feel like, if we know it's an issue going on between like a particular race of people like us, the black folks, man, that's being oppressed. Like I feel like we need to really focus on more of that instead of just, saying just having these little distractions. Because like religion is really a big distraction on our biggest issues.
Yeah.
So, and that's yeah, and if we could, like I said, if we break that mental construct, I think a lot of this stuff will turn into our favor, though. You know,
Man.
Or
it's
if the
it,
churches were used in a good way, man. I
well,
mean,
yeah,
like there's a
yeah,
church. How many churches do we have in the USA? You know,
yeah.
and how many of them are really putting back stuff into the black community?
Well, well, here's the thing about churches, right? Since the ancient times, churches were the banks. The banking system that we use today was actually made by the Roman Church,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the double entry system, right? When Constantine changed over from the polygod system of worship to Christianity. So when you take that into consideration into a fact, the church is a business, and the business is to keeping people in line. And you need three things to run a country. Right, you need three things to keep control of people because those are your assets. Because you can't have a country without people. One, finances. You have to be able to make a currency for goods and services, and you make a class system. Two, education.
Mm-hmm.
You have to educate people or not educate them. Three, you use some spiritual entity or entities to keep people on some type of moral code and path.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we worry about in any spiritual form what happens after we leave this earth. What happens after we leave this plane of existence or this dimension? If I do everything that I need to do that's possible, then I get to go to the nice place. If I do all the bad stuff, then there's a bad place. So I'm gonna try to do as much less bad stuff and more good stuff. So
All right.
then that means I'm following the laws and the rules. This is already instilled in me because the boogeyman is going to get me to torment me for all eternity if I do the bad thing. Or reincarnation is a thing. You get a do-over, you try your best, all of
Ooh,
that nature, right? You get these different things, but they all mean one thing. Now, in the case of the advent of the United States, what was it? Church and state is separate. The Magna
yeah.
Carta was put up on there by Martin Luther, right? By the Protestants. You should be able to serve and be. That's why it's in the Constitution of you can serve whatever God you want. That's why they had to put that in the Constitution. But then they had to put another thing in the Constitution is church and state is separate because we don't want a group of individuals actually operate with carte blanche, using religion as a key. Because you know what's the worst thing in the world? The most powerful thing in the world is faith and belief. Because guess what happens with faith and belief? It doesn't need facts for someone to go off of it. It's all about what they believe. Like we are having this conversation about religion, but I'm not. Other than the fact of the dates, the times, who instituted what, that's empirical evidence. But if you tell me right now, I don't believe you. I believe this is what happened. It doesn't matter what I bring to you. You're going to keep that belief, and I actually respect that. But if I'm able to change your belief to my belief, then that means that I subverted you, and I actually going to lose respect for you because now you can be ran over top of. You don't have any morals to stand on. You don't have anything. You get what I'm saying? So that's.
But at the same time, it's like we need people to be able to do that.
Yeah.
We need. I mean, everyone. Look, man. Everyone can study and do what they want to do. But then we need leaders who are actually going to bring us together and have us maybe drop some of our paradigms and come into something more powerful.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys. Well, dang, it's 3 hours way over time. We're gonna do this. It's getting late as hell over here, but it's getting nice, man. I appreciate y'all on here. We're gonna do this again, man. And Will, man, if you can shoot me, whatever, DeAndre, you can shoot Will's information to me if Will, you don't mind, you know.
Hey, Will, can you see the private chat?
That'd be awesome.
Can you see the private chat in the
yeah, I see the private chat.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah. Just go ahead and put your email information in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, just do that, brother, and I probably get you on here sometime soon, man. You know, interview with you and stuff. And yep, got you, bro.
No worries. I appreciate it. You know, I'm just learning how much it takes to start a company. So you know, I need to network with as many people as I can. So yeah, man, I'd love to speak on your platform again. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate you too.
It's about 96 degrees out here in Vietnam.
Hey man, you've been acting like it's not always 96 degrees.
Man, I'm like, Bart, DeAndre, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna do your.
Sometimes it's colder, man. Sometimes it's raining.
Okay, 85 in December and January. Man, get out of here with all that, man.
I'm gonna take DeAndre, I'm gonna take your advice on this stuff, man, as far as the camera stuff. So
man, we can top that up. Yeah. Hold on, actually, let me hold on if I can put this link in the
in the private. Yeah, if you can do that.
If I can put it
or you can email it to me, it don't matter.
Hold on, let me find this guy. Hold on.
Yeah. I'm about to end this podcast. We'll be on backstage.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
all right, y'all. Stay like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for everybody that came in through in the chat. Y'all take care. I'm out. Till next time.